Yo legends! Welcome to Fanfiction Legend. Grab your headphones because today's story is about to hit different. Disclaimer: I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Konoha, Tsunade, I am the Hokage. Chapter 41 Rewards, Upgrade at Will. Chapter 41 Rewards, Upgrade at Will! Kakashi, I'm coming. Huh? Wait. Kakashi's panicked voice was heard from within the high walls, but before he could cover himself, Jingyan popped his head out from the top of the wall. Below, Kakashi's face was covered in bruises and purple. Next to him, his shadow clone was stunned for a moment, then immediately released it. Kakashi is really ruthless and the difficulty is extremely high from the beginning. Jingyan was speechless. He coughed lightly and said, "Sorry, I came at the wrong time." "You forget it, come in." Kakashi's face flushed, but I've already lost face, so I don't care if the other person looks at me a few more times. Moreover, he also has a mask. Kakashi put on the mask and returned to his original posture, but there was nothing unusual. Jingyan jumped down from above. It's convenient to have a mask. When you put it on, you can't see the injuries and facial expressions. I want to get one. Kakashi was silent for a moment, then turned around, whatever. He turned and went inside. "It's boring!" Jingyan followed. Soon, he and Kakashi arrived at a small dojo. Hadake Sakumo's house is not very small. In addition to residences and courtyards, there is also a kendo venue. Kakashi took out several knives ranging from short to long, and there was a pile of them on the side. "We'll use this knife first. It's an unsharpened practice knife." He took out a handful and threw it over. "Try the moves first, it is good." Jingyan took it and practiced each move. Chop, cut, shave. Kakashi stood aside and watched for a long time. He blinked, his expression under the mask full of shock. He looked at it for a while and couldn't help asking, is this really Jingyan's first time using a knife? But would it appear that I am too ignorant? Kakashi watched from the side. After waiting for a while, Jingyan stopped and turned his head. "Is there anything wrong with my movements?" Kakashi pondered for a moment, hoping to find some bones in the egg, but finally, he said honestly, "It's meaningless to just swing the sword. You have to fight to understand it." Jingyan's swordsmanship moves are already quite standard, and it can almost be said that he has completely mastered the basics of swordsmanship. There is no point in practicing the moves in the short term. What is useful to him now is actual combat. Actual combat based on swordplay. Jingyan nodded. When he swung the sword, he felt that the movements were very familiar and he didn't need to practice much. This should also be the effect of the white fang knife technique. Okay, we used to use kunai, so I'm not used to using swords all of a sudden. Please go easy on me, must. Kakashi glanced at him coldly. In a normal duel, he thought that he might not be as strong as Jingyan, but judging from swordsmanship alone, he did not think that Jingyan would be stronger than him. "Then start." As soon as the two men finished speaking, their swords were unsheathed. Ding ding ding! The two men's blades crossed and collided. Several swords were exchanged in the brief exchange. So fast. Kakashi was shocked. He can see Jingyan's swordsmanship is indeed very average. He just knows how to use the sword and his movements are standard, which is far from being exquisite. However, his speed and reaction are always fast. "What a strong reaction!" Is this something you practiced? Kakashi continued to increase his speed, almost reaching his full speed, before he realized that Jingyan's sword could not keep up. It's not that the reaction is not enough, but the sword skills and power cannot be resisted. This is a reflection of lack of skills. A showdown. Kakashi felt relaxed all over. Comfortable. Let's do it again. He felt great after playing, and his confidence increased greatly. Jingyan's eyes moved. It is good. Then, the blades clashed. In an instant. Bang! Exclamation! Chakra condenses and airflow bursts out. He used his extraordinary strength to instantly knock Kakashi's sword crooked, and then he moved the sword towards Kakashi's neck. Kakashi dodged immediately. You fouled me. Are you a samurai? Jingyan put away his knife. He put away the knife and said confidently, I learn knife skills to hone my skills. When I am mature, I may not use the knife anymore, so there is no need to use it strictly. Kakashi was speechless for a while. This guy is obviously making far-fetched arguments, but he always has the magic to convince people, and people are unconsciously led astray by his ideas. He sheathed the knife. If you need anything, you can come and practice with me anytime. Let me borrow this knife first getting started. With this level of swordsmanship, there is no way Kakashi could be a match for him. It is normal that he cannot defeat Kakashi with swordsmanship alone. Jingyan didn't worry at all. He put away the knife and went home. Kakashi didn't try to stop him. Everyone needs to practice to further improve their strength. Meet Biwajuzo for Jingyan. Although he didn't show it much, he was actually quite stimulated inside. In that battle, he used all his tactics and strength to the best of his ability, but he still only injured his opponent and was unable to kill him, of course. The one who was more stimulating was definitely Biwajuzo. As a Jonin of the Hidden Mist Village, having his knee broken by a surprise attack from a genin of Konoha was an unbearable humiliation in one's life. For several days, Jingyan did not go out except for eating and running. He had been practicing sword skills, listening to the wind, determining positions, and body instincts. Just a dozen days later, Jingyan was practicing when he suddenly received a system notification sound. Under your leadership, Konoha has joined forces with the Land of Lightning and the Land of Hot Spring to implement the Land of Waves strategy, which will effectively limit the development space of the Land of Water on the sea. Reward: increase any skill by 1 level. So fast was a little surprised. According to Jingyan's guess, judging from the efficiency shown by Konoha Saruto by Hiruzen and his 2 advisors in this regard, it would take at least 1 or 2 months to pass. Unexpected. In just over 10 days, not only has the policy been implemented, but its execution has also been completed. Is Saruto by Hiruzen so efficient and visible? It seems that the teacher is really ruthless this time. Jingyan felt a kind of old and happy joy. At least Jiraiya didn't go down the wrong path of thinking that love can bring peace. After a sigh, he focused on the reward. Does this mean you can choose for yourself? Did not expect. This time the reward. Jingyan's eyes lit up. Soon, he fell into a long dilemma. Good is good, but which one to choose to improve? Jingyan scanned the various skills and finally decided on 2 options. Master level teleportation technique. Skilled level of supernatural powers. His eyes flickered back and forth between the 2. There are many possibilities for the development of Grandmaster level teleportation techniques. One is to practice the technique of instant body movement to the extreme, like Shisui, and even combine it with other abilities. Second, master faster teleportation techniques and even be able to control your own speed. This could be a very important qualitative change. But I am not Shisui, nor am I Minato Namikaze. There is no Sharingan or extraordinary talent. Then, after improving the flickering technique, he might fall into the embarrassing situation that Kakashi was in when he didn't have the Sharingan. The improvement of supernatural powers is stable and controllable, but the benefits are also predictable. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to make a choice. Instantaneous technique! Although there is a lot of uncertainty after the upgrade, the benefits will definitely be greater, so it's worth a try. End of this chapter. Chapter 42, Man Yue Kizuna. I can't beat him, I really can't beat him. Chapter 42, Man Yue Kizuna. I can't beat him, I really can't beat him. Grandmaster level teleportation technique. Jingyan put down the knife and sat on the ground to reflect. Detailed and perfect control skills, experience in dealing with various combat scenarios, all kinds of memories come into my mind. Jingyan felt a pain in his head. He endured it for a long time. The pain gradually subsided. Immediately, Jingyan was a little confused. The explanation for this improvement doesn't seem very obvious. What's the use of coping experience if you can't react in time? After hesitating for a moment, he stood up and started trying. First, the basics instantaneous. Whoosh! Exclamation! In an instant, his figure appeared in another place. Jingyan comprehended it carefully. The speed is very fast, probably reaching the limit of what the body and chakra hardware can achieve. But even so, not much difference can be felt, and many more. Try again! Exclamation! He took out the cloth to cover his eyes, then created a shadow clone and let the shadow clone attack him. After many days of training, he has been able to master the basic skills of sound identification, and his body's instinctive reactions have also been greatly enhanced. At the moment when the shadow clone came to kill, Jingyan heard it instantly. In an instant, he reacted and dodged. This is... Jingyan was extremely surprised. He could feel that his body seemed to have undergone countless training and understanding of this technique. So, in the blink of an eye, the moment he heard the sound, he immediately knew where the enemy was and responded instinctively. He tried several times. Then, Jingyan confirmed that he had indeed mastered a better ability to identify the location by sound, and his body's instinctive reaction was also stronger even. At that time, as soon as he had the thought, his body had already taken action. This is a comprehensive improvement! Exclamation! But Jingyan knew it very well. This means that he cannot control such extreme speed, so he needs body instinct and many skills to achieve instant reaction. If one is like Minato Namikaze, who already has the hard conditions to achieve physical reactions, what direction of evolution will it be? Maybe it was in a direction similar to Shisui's, but at the moment he had no way of knowing. It doesn't matter. I can practice the combined techniques myself. Combat experience and reaction are the most valuable. Jingyan exhaled. Afterwards, he pondered over the direction of his subsequent cultivation. Grandmaster level teleportation technique is not invincible. It needs to obtain information first, and then its consciousness responds, and the body reacts almost simultaneously. If the enemy is able to create a completely silent sneak attack, it will be impossible for the body to avoid it on its own. It is still a technique in essence, not the passivity of the body, but even if it is just the improved awareness in dodging and evading, it still brings huge benefits to myself. Jingyan let out a light breath, suppressed the excitement in his heart, and his thoughts gradually became clear. Next step: continue to practice and strengthen your body! Exclamation! What I lack right now is a stronger body. As the hardware is upgraded, the upper limit of instant teleportation will also increase. Next, continue running and practicing swordplay. Jingyan packed his things. He removed all the shelves in the yard. Get out and run. Konoha. Jingyan hasn't been out for a long time, and he is really a little uncomfortable. He wore weights and ran around the outskirts of the village on his own strength. After a while, an acquaintance caught up from behind. Hey, my eternal rival, you're finally back. After waiting for a while, Kai quickly overtook him and ran backwards. Why don't you answer me? Jingyan was at a loss. Are you talking to me? Damn it. You two really are on the same team, right? Your speaking styles are very similar. Might Guy sighed. Isn't Kakashi your eternal rival? Jingyan was surprised. Might Guy chuckled and said, Can I only have one opponent? You and Kakashi are my eternal opponents. Then, suddenly, he was running normally again. Speaking of which, are you going to participate in this year's Chunin exam? This year is a little special, and I wanted to ask if you would like to participate. Chunin exams, special? Jingyan was slightly stunned. Kai nodded. Yes, didn't Master Jiraiya tell you? I haven't seen the teacher for many days. Even at the hot spring, Kyouhiko did not see Jiraiya. He probably left Konoha because of the alliance. Kai was stunned for a moment, then he understood. No wonder. Lord Jiraiya is indeed very busy. Well, it's like this. My teacher said that this year's Chunin exam will be jointly held with the Hidden Cloud Village and the Hidden Mist Village. The envoy of the Hidden Mist Village has already arrived in the village. He was speaking. A cold snort came from not far away. Ryamine Kyouhiko, I finally found you. The voice sounded slightly familiar. Jingyan looked in the direction he came from, then raised his eyebrows and a faint smile appeared on his face. Man Yu-kun, you are looking for me. Aren't you here to thank my teacher for inviting you to Konoha as a guest? Humph. Gui Dang Man Yu snorted coldly. He looked at Jingyan with a cold gaze. You will be taking part in this Chunin exam, right? Who knows, maybe, maybe not. Jingyan shrugged. How have you been lately? A cruel smile appeared on Mangetsu's lips. Thanks to you, I have had a fulfilling time during this period. If you don't participate in the Chunin exam, I will repay the other ninjas who participate in Konoha. After he finished speaking, his figure suddenly changed however. As Mangetsu Kizuki appeared, Jingyan raised his fist and swung it behind him. Wow! With a loud bang, Mangetsu Kizuki's head exploded, but he still swung his fist at Jingyan. The water transformation technique is not afraid of fists! However. The next moment, Yue Kizuna's punch missed water a moment. He couldn't hide the shock on his face. When Yue Kizuna reacted, she saw that the figure in front of her had disappeared. Is this a clone technique? Not! It's not a clone. It's simply that the opponent's speed is too fast and my eyes can't keep up, resulting in an afterimage! Yue Kizuna's breathing paused. The next moment, his head and lower body were blown up again. Above is Might Guy's flying kick. Lower body it was Jingyan's kick. Kai was surprised to find that Jingyan had come behind Mangetsu Kizuna at some point. What a great speed! And it seems that the people in the Hidden Mist Village didn't react. You attacked a Konoha ninja. It seems you want to continue to be a guest in Konoha. Gui Dang Man Yu did not answer. He wasn't arrogant, he was just completely frightened. This guy! The reaction and attack speed are faster than before. After being studied by that pervert for more than 10 days, this man named Ryamine Kyouhiko has become stronger again! How can it be? Is this guy really a human? For the first time, Yue Kizuna felt that her talent was inferior to that of others. The only thing he was thankful for was that no matter how powerful the person in front of him was, he couldn't kill him. If it weren't for the secret technique of water transformation, he would definitely be dead. At this moment, on the high platform of Konoha Hospital not far away. Tsunade. Okay. The one in the distance who's fighting with the Hidden Mist Village seems to be your junior. Orochimaru's voice was hoarse. Tsunade immediately looked over there, then burst out laughing. Jingyan! This kid Tsunade suddenly looked closely, her gaze focused. She sensed something on Jingyan's body and quickly burst out with a powerful chakra, and then with one punch she blew up the upper body of Mangetsu Kizuki, who had instantly appeared behind him. Such speed! No way's progress that fast! She was shocked in her heart and could not hide the surprise in her eyes. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. For his age, this speed is already amazing. This kid can't help but remind me of the second-generation adult. The blood and talent of the Senju clan shines again in him. It's really amazing and nostalgic. No wonder you chose to return to the village and want to compete for Hokage. Even Orochimaru couldn't help but admire at this moment. No wonder Jiraiya often said proudly that his disciple was like another second-generation Hokage. It really is the same terrifying talent. What bloodline? It's just that he worked hard enough. His talent only played a small role. Even so, Tsunade couldn't stop smiling. Then, she smiled stiffly and snorted coldly. As for competing for the Hokage, if it weren't for the old man and the others, this child's talent would definitely have been discovered earlier. I compete for the Hokage to protect their healthy growth. Back then, Senju Momoko's illusion technique was well known in the ninja world. The books she left behind are as valuable to study as those of the second generation. Orochimaru said. Tsunade sneered, "What have you found out in all these years? You have studied the illusion books of your great-uncle and great-aunt for many years, but you don't even have a person who can perform the darkness technique." Orochimaru was silent. Because at present, Konoha does not even have a ninja who masters the dark art. Tsunade was about to complain about their incompetence again when she suddenly stopped and disappeared from the spot in an instant. The skill choice in the previous chapter was controversial. After thinking about it, I realized that it was not well thought out, so it has been changed to telekinesis, so the content of this chapter has also been changed and rewritten. I hope you all understand, thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 43, Black Ho Raiga, Fighting 3 Ninjas. Me. Chapter 43, Kirachi Raiga, Fight the 3 Ninjas. Me. Mangetsu, don't mess around in Konoha. The voice sounded. A Kirigakure ninja with 2 swords on his waist. It is definitely not a flatfish. Judging from the style of the scabbard, it looks more like a thunderblade fang. Yue Kizuna's expression was still dazed, his face dull, and it was obvious that he was not in a clear state of mind and did not hear anything at all. Full moon of ghost lantern? Leia was a little dissatisfied. Ah, yes. Only then did Yue Kizuna come back to her senses from her shock. The fear in his eyes faded. Seeing Leia, Hazuki Mangetsu immediately bowed and apologized to him. Sorry. I'm the one you should apologize to, right? Or are all of you Kirigakure ninjas like this, able to attack others in other ninja villages without apologizing? Jingyan glanced at Leia. Leia frowned and glanced at him and Guiding Man Yu. His emotions were difficult to control for a moment, and his face gradually became fierce and cruel, with murderous aura secretly overflowing. But Jingyan remained unmoved and threatened. You have murderous intentions towards me. Do you want to kill me and silence me? Leia was secretly shocked. He was murderous when he was angry, and many of the Jonin from the same village were afraid of him. However, the kid in front of him looked at him fearlessly and even dared to talk back at him. What courage! He looked at Guiding Man Yu and felt more and more dissatisfied. The Kizuna clan boasted loudly that this person was the first genius of the Kizuna clan and was expected to become the second generation Mizukage. The results of it turned out to be just a vase. When he met a genius from Konoha, he became distracted and even forgot the basic rules of being a ninja. Look at people. I am full of murderous intent and the other party is not afraid at all. This is true genius. He shouted. Man Yu, are you waiting for me to apologize for you? Yes, I'm sorry, Jingyan-kun, I just wanted to say hello, I didn't really mean to attack you. I was just scared by your reaction just now, so I forgot to apologize for a long time. Ghost Lantern Full Moon knows this matter can be big or small. In the past, novels were about children fighting and making noises. To put it in a broader sense, even if Jingyan were to say this now, the Hidden Mist village attacked Konoha's Genin, and the Jonin came to try to silence them. It all depends on what Konoha says, and so it is better to admit that you were frightened and lost your mind than to be caught in a weak spot and suffer greater losses. However, what do you want to do to our Konoha ninjas? Tsunade's eyes were cold. The fierce murderous aura was overwhelming. Black Ho Leia turned his head stiffly. Such terrifying pressure and momentum! For a moment, he almost thought that he had fallen into an illusion like Naraku-ken that aroused fear in his heart, which was why he was so panicked and scared. However, not an illusion, just based on murderous intent. He looked pale. Immediately, another person fell down behind Tsunade, and a smile that looked gentle but was actually terrifying appeared on his pale face. 2 of the 3 ninjas, Tsunade and Orochimaru, are here. This kid is so proud that all the three ninjas are paying so much attention to him! Just as Jingyan was about to speak, Mangetsu Kizuki immediately knelt down with a plop and sat down. Kyouhiko-kun, I really just wanted to say hello and compete with you again in the Chunin exams. I definitely didn't mean to attack you. Raiga-senpai can't control himself when he gets angry, and this is not targeting you. Hazuki Mangetsu is not afraid of others, but Orochimaru. He had spent 10 of the past 15 days with Orochimaru. Although his consciousness was confused at the time and he had no memory of what happened in between, he instinctively felt fear in his heart! He had no doubt. At this moment, Orochimaru might be considering finding an excuse to force him to stay for a while. If the water transforming technique is really developed, he will be blamed for it. There was a hint of regret on Orochimaru's face. So it was a misunderstanding? Yes, a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. This kid from the Guidang family is so proud of his talent that he acts very unruly in the village. I have already severely reprimanded Man Yu. Haichulei Lion said misunderstanding. 2 members of the San and I heard that the teacher of the child in front of me is Jiraiya. When the other teacher arrives, we can form a complete lineup of the 3 ninjas! He is not Hanzo of the Salamander. I am so sorry, seniors. Black Ho Lei's voice is obscure. Don't cause trouble in Konoha, or there will be people to take care of you. Tsunade waved her hand to show her power, but then she thought that this was Konoha, and if she really destroyed the streets she might have to pay compensation. So she stopped what she was doing. She glanced at Mangetsu, who was kneeling on the ground, and then glanced at Orochimaru behind her. It seems during this period of time, Orochimaru has cast a huge shadow on him! Orochimaru chuckled and said, now that the 2 villages are on good terms, everyone is longing for peace. Let's just let it go for a few misunderstandings. Otherwise, this matter won't be resolved so quickly. Yes. Haichulei felt as if he had been pardoned after hearing this. He immediately turned around and left without daring to stay any longer. If he stays any longer, Jiraiya might come and he will have to kneel down! Wait until people leave. Orochimaru licked his lips, looked up and down at Kyouhiko, and then smiled and said, Tsunade, this is Jiraiya's disciple, right? Ryamine Kyouhiko greets Orochimaru-senpai. Jingyan stepped forward to greet him. Might Guy was beside him, his face dull, not daring to breathe. A Tsunade. A big Orochimaru. They are all celebrities in the ninja world that you don't usually see. Ah. Orochimaru's eyes were sharp. After looking at him for a moment he smiled and said, I have something else to do today. See you again if there's a chance. Yes. Jingyan nodded. Tsunade was standing aside, waiting for Orochimaru to leave. She glanced at Guy and said, Your name is Might Guy? Ah. Yes, Lady Tsunade. Kai was nervous. Now, he is still a fledgling genin. How could he have seen such a scene every day in the hospital? I can see you running past. I have read your information. You are very hardworking and excellent. Tsunade praised seriously. Kai was a little surprised and couldn't help being moved and excited. He quickly raised his hand to wipe away his tears. Lady Tsunade. He cried uncontrollably. Tsunade's affirmation was the best appreciation and encouragement for him. Tsunade's mouth twitched and she glanced at Jingyan. Jingyan shrugged. Kai is like this. When he is excited, his emotions change like the weather. Tsunade was thinking about how to comfort her. Might Guy suddenly stopped crying and said, Lady Tsunade, I will continue to work hard. I will prove that even if I am only good at physical skills, I can become a great ninja. Tsunade's expression eased a little and she nodded slightly. Ah. Her thoughts were interrupted, and for a moment she didn't know what she was about to say. Seeing her expression, Jingyan and Kai didn't know how to speak first. After pondering for a while, she finally reacted. Your training method can push your body to its limits. You can make progress by breaking your limits time and time again, but it is also very taxing on your body. It is best to check your physical condition regularly to avoid leaving injuries that are difficult to heal. After hearing this, Kai looked hesitant. He understood the truth, but he and his father were just ninjas and a trip to the hospital would cost a lot. Tsunade's expression softened. Don't worry, I'll pay for your physical examination. Compared to her gambling debts, this amount of money is nothing, but if it can ensure the healthy growth of a potential ninja, the benefits will be huge. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. Kai was overjoyed and thanked him repeatedly. Tsunade is optimistic about him exclamation for him. This was the greatest affirmation, and he was determined to practice hard. Because the chapter modification has caused inconvenience to everyone, I will add another chapter. Note, the previous upgrade of super strength skill was changed to teleportation skill, and the previous content has been changed. End of this chapter. Chapter 44 Kai, What is the Real Victory? Chapter 44 Kai, What is the Real Victor? Come on, I believe you can do it. Tsunade nodded, offering more encouragement. Might Guy was so excited that he immediately expressed his determination to work hard and strive to live up to Tsunade's expectations. Then he disappeared without a trace. Tsunade was silent for several seconds, then she tilted her head and said, Is this guy always like this? Maybe he's a little unpredictable, but you'll get used to it. He's actually a hard-working, talented ninja. Jingyan said nice things to Kai. Tsunade nodded. Of course, she knew that Kai was a good person and was willing to work hard. Otherwise, she would not have given him any real support. Tsunade and Orochimaru came so quickly. Did they just happen to see me or have they been paying attention to me? Jingyan observed and pondered secretly, then he asked, Tsunade sister, have you overcome that? It's not that easy. Tsunade shook her head. She did research and look for information on that subject to see if there were any corresponding medicines, but Konoha had no records on this matter and there was a complete blank in this area. To think positively is there is a lot of room for improvement in the medical field, and there are many areas where I can work hard, she said, unable to help but laugh. I was just discussing with Orochimaru whether the Hazumi clan has any specific nerves after turning into water. This one Jingyan couldn't answer. Tsunade smiled warmly. Don't worry, I'm Tsunade. A minor illness won't bother me. Now that I've overcome it, won't it be impossible to find herbs for this? She walked forward and then suddenly stopped. By the way, Jiraiya hasn't been in the village recently. Have I told you about the Chunin exam? No, but Genkai told me. Jingyan said. Tsunade slapped her own head. I've been so busy with research lately that I didn't even think to tell you. Then, she talked about the situation of this Chunin exam. Pretty much the same as Kei said. The difference is that Tsunade mentioned something deeper. The problems of Wave Country are roughly the same as what Jingyan thought. At the national level, nobles from various countries are gathering in the Kingdom of Waves these days to discuss rules and policies for shipping to prevent the shipping industry from being maliciously monopolized by commercial companies. At the Ninja Village level, Konoha united with the villages related to the shipping line such as the Hidden Cloud Village and the Hidden Hot Spring Village to force the Hidden Mist Village to declare that it would not support Kado behind the scenes and would not interfere in the internal affairs of the Wave Country. The same goes for Konoha. Jiraiya attended this meeting as a representative. The joint Chunin exam was just a bonus for this meeting. In essence, everyone just wanted to know how each other's villages had recovered after the war. The venue was chosen to be Tangian Village. Everyone is still fighting and clashing privately, so we don't feel safe going to anyone. So we simply chose the neutral Yuyin Village. This is a very special exam, and the village is currently very cautious in selecting people. Tsunade said, looking towards Kyouhiko. You and Kiranai are among them. Kyouhiko asked, Can Kakashi join in? Tsunade shook her head. Kakashi was already a Chunin, so it was inevitable that he would be criticized when he took part in a joint exam of this level. Even if you and Hong both participate, we still have to choose a temporary teammate. Is there anyone who can choose? Where are Kai and the others? They are not strong enough. As for Might Guy, Tsunade recalled the information. Putting aside ninjutsu and academic subjects, Might Guy is quite strong, but his two teammates are not up to standard. It is actually possible for them to temporarily form a team to take the exam. She originally wanted to ask for Jingyan, but thinking of Kai's performance just now, she couldn't help but twitch her lips and lost the idea of contacting him again in the short term. I'll ask Hong for you, but you'd better ask on your own, Might Guy, to avoid any misunderstanding. If you are sure to participate, you still have 1 month to practice. Yes. Since Kai mentioned it just now, he is definitely willing to participate. Jingyan wasn't worried. After saying goodbye to Tsunade, Jingyan found Might Guy outside a forest. He was exercising and wiping away tears. Jingyan hesitated for a moment, but finally stepped forward. Guy, something important has to happen. How many people will be participating in your team for the Chunin exam? If it's just you, our team might just be short of 1 person. Might Guy's expression was dull, and then he showed surprise. Really? I have always been optimistic about you, or did you think I was comforting you before? Kyouhiko. Kai immediately hugged Jingyan. Immediately, he quickly let go and said excitedly, I want to practice. I want to become stronger and must not be a burden to you. Run another 500 laps today. If I can't do it, I'll practice with you. Great. At night, both of them were very tired, but Jingyan still insisted on seeing Might Guy off to his home. Kai, is he the new friend you talked about? He's the Jingyan I mentioned. Kai hesitated for a moment and said, Father, he also invited me to take part in the Chunin exam together. Might Guy was stunned. Then he stroked Kai's hair. After a pause, Might Guy said, Kai, remember what I said before. What is the true victory of a ninja? Protect the things that are important to you until your death. Well, today I will teach you a technique. Although it is not perfect, it is time for you to protect your friends in this Chunin exam. Might Guy said this, and suddenly a huge amount of chakra burst out of his body. At this moment, Kai's expression was dull. Previously, although he no longer hated his father's youth quotations and even learned some of them unconsciously, he never thought that his father actually hid such powerful power. This technique can only be used to protect teammates. Next, I will train you to master it. Yes. The next day, we met at the training ground outside the village as agreed. You too? I will never be a burden. Jingyan and Kai shouted in unison. Zihahong's face darkened. One look at these two people revealed that they had trained for a long time yesterday, so they were not in good spirits today. Jingyan is fine, just a little tired, but it shouldn't affect today's training. But Might Guy, he looks so energetic. I guess he didn't get enough rest yesterday. She stared at Might Guy. Kai immediately shrank his head. I didn't mean it. After a while, the 4th person arrived. Although it was covered, Kira and I could still see that Kakashi was covered in bruises. She sighed. You guys, let me treat you first. Even though my skills are not good, they are more than enough to treat this kind of injury. No, it won't affect the battle. Kakashi's tone was cold. Jingyan said, Hong, don't rush to talk about us. You haven't rested yourself, right? Zihai remained speechless. Everyone wants to become stronger, so how can she rest? After a while, the 5th and 6th people arrived. Gemma Shiranui and Abisu. There is no doubt that the two of them are in the best spirit and condition, but when they saw these 4 people, it can be seen that each of these 4 people has signs of crazy training. Compared with them, the two of them, Gemma Shiranui and Abisu, looked at each other, their eyes filled with shock and their hearts filled with shame. Before, they just compared Kai with him and thought that Kai's talent was average, so it was not surprising that he worked so hard. But what about Kakashi, Tiranai Yuhai, and Ryamine Kyouhiko? They are Jiraiya's disciples. Are they all as crazy as Kai? Let's get started. This training is mainly to help the three of them hone their coordination and prepare for the joint Chunin exam. The three of us Kakashi glanced at Genma Shiranui and Ebisu. He instinctively wanted to complain, but reason suppressed his instinct. We just have to work hard. Anyway, even if it was him, if he didn't just fight with swordsmanship, he might not be a match for Jingyan. Do your best. End of this chapter. Chapter 45, Behind the Tragically Thick Barrier. Chapter 45, Behind the Tragically Thick Barrier. Both sides soon began training, and there was a fierce fighting sound in the Death Forest. After a while, in the forest, several Jingyan and Kai were moving around, and it was difficult to tell the real ones from the fake ones. These are Naraku's clone illusions. Sunset Red has been mastered. Kakashi dispelled the illusion while observing the location of his real body, then quickly drew his sword and killed one of them. The two were fighting with a clang sound. Kakashi immediately turned around and prepared to rush to the rear for support. However, Shiranui, Genma, Ebisu, and Kyouhiko appeared in an instant and swung their swords quickly. In a few moments, Genma, Shiranui, and Ebisu were already dead. Victory or defeat is decided. Jingyan's speed became faster, and the speed he could control became terrifying. With the abilities of Genma, Shiranui, and Ebisu, they were simply unable to withstand Kyouhiko's attacks and assassinations, and they lost the same way every time. What rapid progress! Kakashi gripped the knife, then loosened it. Let's take a rest first. It is good. Jingyan nodded. The two teams separated and sat in two places. Wow. Too strong. After just a few fights, Shiranui Genjian was already sweating profusely, and the kunai in his hand was broken at the base of his thumb and was bleeding slowly. He had thought that Jingyan was very strong, but I didn't expect that the gap between them was so big. Ebisu said bitterly, "There's no way I can win." Kakashi glanced at the two of them. So before, you were still thinking about winning? Even he didn't expect to win. This, of course, I have thought about it. Maybe the gap won't be too big. Shiranui Genma's face felt hot. Before the battle, he still held out a glimmer of hope, thinking that since they had Kakashi, perhaps their overall strength could be above that of the opponent, and with the help of Kakashi's tactics, they might be able to defeat the opponent's team. However, the result is very realistic. They are no match at all. In Shiranui Genma's mind, he recalled the scene of Jingyan's dodging just now, and couldn't help but feel shocked. He completely avoided the kunai and shuriken, not a single one of them hit him. But this is his limit. Even if detonating talismans were used, the results might not be any better. And if I'm lucky, maybe I can beat all three of them? Kakashi's eyes were cold. Genma, Shiranui, and Ebisu didn't dare to look Kakashi in the eye. They really thought so. In the previous team, they always looked down on Kai and failed to recognize his strengths and power. However, many things will feel completely different if you change your perspective. Now, they both clearly realized that Kai may not be dignified, but he is much better than them. Kakashi stood up and walked towards Kyouhiko. Jingyan, you are too strong. This kind of training will not be effective. Kakashi felt very complicated when he said this. Jingyan has improved again. Although he has recently started using a similar training method and has made some progress, his progress is far less than that of the other party. Amazing talent and hard work. Kakashi sighed inwardly. Jingyan rubbed his brows. He felt it too. His master-level body flickering technique allowed him to dodge most attacks from ninja tools, and he could also launch surprise attacks and assassinations. Basically, the skills of the likes of Genma, Shiranui, and Ebisu could not serve as a distraction at all. Shiranui, Genma, and Ebisu followed behind in silence. You two, Jingyan wanted to say something comforting, but these two performed really badly. The two of them are too weak. The performance is very consistent with his current age. Genma Shiranui is even considered quite outstanding. However, compared with Kakashi, Guy, and others, it is really not good enough. Especially Ebisu. If he had helped Gemma Shiranui, he would not have been defeated so quickly so many times. He hesitated. Finally, I decided to go straight to the point. You need to work harder to become stronger. Your current strength is too weak. Yes, I'm sorry. Shiranui Genma and Ebisu apologized immediately. Kyouhiko shook his head. I was just helping you, so you don't need to apologize to me. However, the current situation is unstable, and war will happen sooner or later. The more strength we have, the more security we will have in the future. We will redouble our efforts. Starting tomorrow, let's practice together and make progress and become stronger together. Jingyan suggested. May I? Shiranui Genma and Ebisu were stunned, feeling both surprised and delighted of course. Then, the next day, there was a beautiful scenery in Konoha village. Run 500 laps. Whoever can't do it, punch it 100 times. Ah! A green figure was sprinting madly in front. What? Janma Shiranui and Ebisu were stunned. We agreed to train together, but ended up training with Might Guy. This is not what they thought! Are you guys going to quit? Kyouhiko glanced at the two, as well as Kakashi and Kurenai Yuhai. Their faces turned green, but to quit like this would seem a bit timid and cowardly. Ahead, my youthful blood is completely boiling and burning. My eternal rival, let's duel together. Yuhai Hong covered her face. Working out with Kai is really a bit of a training mentality, but run. Seeing Jingyan running out, Kakashi gritted his teeth and followed him. It was always Kai who challenged him to a duel. This is the first time in my life that we run together! Yue Hong had no choice but to follow. As she ran along, she kept her head down and dared not raise it, but she soon realized that this shame was only temporary. As long as you get used to it, it's actually not that bad, provided that I didn't meet anyone familiar! The get out of class was almost over, and she ran breathlessly past the ninja school following Jingyan. Her eyes met several strange looks on campus, and she immediately shrank her head. There is an acquaintance. On campus, Asuma, who was doing combat training, was stunned when he looked outside the fence. Running like crazy with Jingyan and the others. Is it sunset red? Do not! Impossible! You must have read it wrong! Asuma wiped his eyes, but after several times, he was sure that he was not mistaken. It's really sunset red! Her temperament is completely different. Asuma, what are you looking at? Oh, Kurenai? I heard that she is studying with Lady Tsunade now. Oh, I'm so envious. Who knows, maybe in the future, she can become a female ninja like Lady Tsunade. The classmates next to them sighed with envy. Asuma was stunned. Following Lady Tsunade? Looking outside, Asuma felt vaguely that it seemed that there was only the wall of the ninja school between him and Yuhai Kurenai, but in reality, there was a pathetically thick barrier. The shame of training is often gradually forgotten through constant practice. 1 day, 2 days, 20 days later, everyone had gotten used to it, of course. Even Jingyan couldn't completely learn Kai's habit of shouting. He just wants to become stronger, not abnormal. This day's evening, everyone was lying on the grass, exhausted, except for Rai Hong, who looked better. Jingyan sat up. Now, do you still find this exercise ridiculous? As long as you can become stronger, there's nothing to laugh at. Kakashi deadbent. Shiranui Genma and Ebisu hesitated for a moment, then followed suit. Due to their weak physical foundation, the progress of him, Ebisu and Yuhai Kurenai is visible to the naked eye. This kind of practice can really make you stronger! From now on, even if Kai and I are not here, you can't slack off. Daily exercise will be effective. Do you understand? Jingyan warned seriously. Not only that, you have to encourage everyone to practice together. Shouldn't good things be shared? Even if we don't share, everyone will be embarrassed. Do you still feel embarrassed? We should make this a Konoha tradition and hold an extreme training competition once a year from now on. Jingyan talked about his fantasy. Except for Might Guy, who was very excited, everyone else was silent. That kind of scene, it's really terrible. End of this chapter. Chapter 46 Ambush. Attack. Chapter 46 Ambush. Attack! Exclamation in the tree. He followed the two secretly. A silent, dry laugh. The other one's cheek muscles twitched and his expression looked so distorted that the yellow-haired ninja, who was trying to hold back his laughter, almost laughed out loud. Extreme exercise competition. It's a good thing that this junior brother could think of this. If this kind of competition really develops into something like that, the future of Konoha will be really exciting. Below, Jingyan heard a faint smile and his heart was immediately moved. Anyone? He didn't sense it, but he was able to sense it by listening to the sound. This is also the ability after the instant teleportation technique is upgraded. After that day, the Kirigakure ninja group quickly completed the negotiations and left Konoha. The ones following them must be Konoha ninjas, so there was no need to worry too much. After the training was over, the three members of the original team gathered together. Kyouhiko, Hong, the teacher hasn't come back yet. Have you decided who you will go to Yuyan village with next? Don't worry, the teacher will definitely make arrangements. We just need to practice and become stronger. Jingyan said. No matter how unreliable Jiraiya was, he would not forget about this. Jingyan looked up at the tree, still not moving. Or has the person already left? He didn't hear any sound, so he probably didn't leave. Senior in the tree, won't you come down and reminisce about the past? On the tree, Kakashi and Kira and I looked around. I didn't sense at all! Exclamation. After waiting for a while, a red-haired woman jumped down from one of the trees. How did you find out? I should have hidden it very well without any flaws. There was laughter. Jingyan answered. He looked up. Well, my hair is very long, almost reaching my waist. Uzumaki Kushina's eyes widened slightly, with a look of disbelief. Then she couldn't help but chuckle, and then burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, Minato, you've exposed your whereabouts. Why don't you come down? Minato Namikaze jumped down from the tree with a bit of embarrassment on his face. He was the one who laughed just now. Having your hiding place discovered by a junior is really not something to boast about, but, although he didn't burst into laughter, the sound of his laughter was very faint. Jingyan was talking to other people at the time, but how could he hear his faint laughter at the same time? Namikaze Minato was indescribably surprised. Is your hearing innate? No, I trained for it. Jingyan explained the purpose, process, and experience of his blindfold training in a very complete manner. He also extended the time for sound and hearing training to more than a year, so he was not afraid that others would not believe him. As for Kakashi, do not ask. The question is whether you are gifted. Minato Namikaze was greatly shocked when he heard this. He never thought. It turns out that this method can also be used to improve, to avoid the defect that the eyesight is difficult to keep up at high speed. Minato Namikaze's face was full of amazement. Kyouhiko, are these all things you thought of in the past year or two? That's really remarkable. He is also a civilian. Namikaze Minato knew very well that a civilian without many ninjutsu or books could only study the three body techniques and the more common instant body technique. The other party was able to study the teleportation technique to such a level at this age. He is far inferior! Exclamation. You guys, if you have any ideas, you can discuss them on the way back. They are very tired today, let them go back and rest early. On the way? The teacher is still in the land of hot springs. Minato will take you to the hot spring village tomorrow. The next day, the four of them gathered at the entrance of Konoha village. After waiting for a while, Kakashi came over in a flash. It's a good thing you didn't leave. Minato Namikaze glanced over and noticed that he was carrying a knife on his back and holding a knife, and he became thoughtful. I'll go register. You guys finish what you want to say as soon as possible. Minato headed for the door. Kakashi handed over the knife in his hand. Kyouhiko, this knife is just like the practice blade, but it's sharpened and tougher. It will be useful to you. Thank you. Jingyan did not refuse. He took the knife and tested it. Although he didn't know how to use a knife, he was very skilled in using it and it suited him very well. Obviously, Kakashi took a lot of time to find the sword. It's nothing. It takes a lot of energy to maintain the knife. It's better to give it to someone who needs it. Kakashi smiled. Kai was doing handstands and exercising beside him, while Yahiko and I was reading a book. Everyone is very busy. Let's go. After Namikaze Minato registered them, he led them out of the village. When they were about to leave, a procession ran past the village gate, led by none other than Genma Shiranui and Ebisu, followed by a few younger children. They yelled lap counts and then rushed through the door. Kakashi's eyes flickered, and finally, amid everyone's strange looks, he gritted his teeth and joined the running group. Under your leadership, the movement and spirit of extreme training have been promoted and recognized in a small range reward. 8 Gates of Dunjia beginner Kyuuin really brought a group of people to practice together. Jingyan burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, this is youth. Might Guy was very excited. He has a sense of his own spirit, circulating in the village. Immediately, Kai ran forward a long distance, then came back upside down, full of motivation. Namikaze Minato's smile was stiff. Has he always been like this? More or less. Jingyan nodded, secretly observing the system. 8 Gates Dunjia. This is indeed the corresponding term for extreme training, and does it mean that Kai has now started practicing the 8 gates? Jingyan looked at Kai in front of him, his thoughts carefully comprehending the extra memories in his mind. 8 Gates Dunjia. The entry level only includes the principles of the 8 gates of ninjutsu, and the methods and techniques of opening the Kai and Zu gates. However, the conditions and costs for opening it still need to be met by the body. It's like entry-level supernatural power. Jingyan still remembers the first time I used my super strength, my hands were bleeding. However, with my own abilities, opening and closing the doors should not be a problem and can be used as a trump card. The 4 of them moved forward together. On the way, Minato Namikaze was always observing. He found whether it was Kai, Jingyan or even Yahiko and I, they all trained like crazy. They spent almost all their time exercising and studying, and would never take the initiative to rest. Most of the time, it was he who asked the 3 of them to rest and not to indulge in cultivation. The country of hot springs is just ahead. Namikaze Minato smiled. The scenery ahead changed drastically from the original forest and wilderness to misty and mountain springs. This is the land of soup, a country with hot springs, singing birds and fragrant flowers everywhere. Jingyan glanced over and couldn't help but sigh. It's no wonder that such a beautiful country is a peaceful country. Pity. The so-called peaceful country. He was just sighing when a sharp voice suddenly rang out from the darkness. Jingyan was now extremely sensitive to sounds. He recognized the hidden weapon at the first sight and shouted, "Beware of the ambush." Next moment, whoosh! Exclamation! Namikaze Minato disappeared in an instant. The enemy was unknown, so Kyouhiko didn't attack immediately, but quickly fired 2 kunai, knocking away 2 kunai with explosive tags. Immediately water escape, water formation, wall! Exclamation, boom! Exclamation, there were explosions and water splashed everywhere. Jingyan instantly extracted a large amount of chakra, and the surrounding water flow rotated to relieve the force, thus protecting the safety in the middle. At this moment, Kai and Yahiko and I finally reacted and understood what had happened. They were attacked. Outside, a scream shook the sky. Minato Namikaze takes action! Exclamation. Jingyan blocked the first wave, but at this moment, a slight sound came from underground. Be careful underground. Kara! Exclamation. The ground collapsed. A hand stretched out from under Jingyan's feet and immediately grabbed him, but the next moment, the original figure disappeared. This is a shadow clone! Then, boom! With one punch, the ground cracked and blood gushed out like a fountain. Be careful! Jingyan quickly put a Bingling pill into his mouth. Earth escape. Is it Iwagakure? End of this chapter. Chapter 47. Are all Konoha Genin so powerful? Chapter 47. Are all Konoha Genin so powerful? Call. Jingyan gasped for breath. Both the large water wall and this kind of powerful force consumed a lot of chakra. Currently, his chakra can only support one more attack of similar level. Unfortunately, no one in their team is good at lightning escape and earth escape. I should have brought Kakashi along! Jingyan was secretly annoyed. He glanced around. Namikaze Minato has already defeated most of the enemies, but coming. Zihang's pupils shrank. Then Kara! The ground cracked open and 3 figures rushed towards them. She immediately formed a seal. Niraku's clone. In an instant, illusions and clones affected the surroundings, making it difficult for the 3 to judge. Immediately afterwards, the chakra exploded. The clone explodes. Drink. Kai kicked an enemy who was rushing towards him and sent him flying. However, bang! The opponent backhanded and blocked his kick steadily. Immediately, several figures emerged from the ground. Some are earth clones. Zihikuranai has been maintaining the strongest perception and now quickly revealed the information. Hi, Hong, they are targeting us. Jingyan's eyes became serious and he instantly stood beside Zihang. Thinking moment, he sensed a strange noise coming from the ground. Not good. Jingyan put his hand on Zihang's shoulder, stood up in an instant and jumped towards the woods behind. Although Kai's reaction was a bit slow, his body reacted almost at the same time as Jingyan. He immediately retreated to avoid the ground spikes and kicked an earth clone to pieces, but at this moment, 3 or 4 people jumped out from under Jingyan and rushed towards Jingyan and Zihang at an extremely fast speed. Jingyan understood instantly. They are targeting him. Jonan, don't fight hard. As Jingyan was thinking, rock pillars rose up around him. At the same time, there were several strange noises. It was difficult to tell what they were, but it was foreseeable that the opponent wants to kill him. Must run quickly! Go. He grabbed the sunset red. At this moment, Jingyan couldn't care less. Open the door, open. Then run away instantly. With the master level instant body flying technique, plus the complete control, performance, and speed increase brought by opening the door, Jingyan and Yahiko rushed a long distance in an instant. The direction is exactly the location of Minato Namikaze. So fast. The 3 Iwagakure ninjas were surprised and even more shocked. How can a genin be so fast? No wonder! They became more determined to kill. Jingyan, leave me and run. They are targeting you. The sunset is red and anxious. Facing the Jonin from the Iwagakure village, her illusions were completely ineffective and were a complete burden. No need to rush. Jingyan whispered. When the 3 Jonin were about to catch up with him suddenly, he let go of Yahiko on a tree. Then, he instantly moved and drew his sword. By the time they focused their attention, Jingyan was already more than 10 steps away. Among the 3, one of them covered his neck with his face full of fear and pain. What a quick knife! At that moment, he even thought he saw White Fang. Must kill! Otherwise, the future of Konoha terrible. He might become like White Fang, ruling an era again and becoming the sword hanging over everyone's head. Call! Jingyan gasped for breath. The White Fang sword technique's surprise attack and assassination were indeed very efficient. As long as the timing and speed are right, it is not a miracle for the weak to defeat the strong. Facing the Jonin, he didn't dare to hold back. Even if the effect of opening the door ended, he could immediately open the rest door to recover temporarily, but if you can't open it, then it's better not to open it. Kai was entangled by several earth clones and had difficulty in getting away, but seeing that Jingyan was exhausted, he suddenly increased his speed and broke away, rushing towards Jingyan. Just at this moment. Minato-senpai, if you don't come, I'm really going to die. Sorry, it took a while to deal with the enemy. Minato Namikaze appeared beside him, covered in blood, with a kunai in his hand dripping with blood. He glanced at the remaining two people. Does the Iwagakure want to go to war with Konoha? The two tried to run away, but the next moment, Namikaze Minato appeared beside them, and it was only the shadow clones protecting Kyouhiko. A huge chakra ball appeared in his hand. Daimler Rasengan exclamation boom exclamation there was a loud bang. The two were forced to jump out. Minato Namikaze moved as fast as lightning, and in a few flashes, the two men looked shocked and incredulous. So fast. Why are Konoha's ninjas so strong? Blood splatters. The two men fell down slowly. After continuous fighting, even Minato Namikaze could not hide his fatigue, but he still remembered the scene with Jingyan just now. That kind of speed too fast exclamation, it's almost beyond the limits of what the body can do. Could it be a forbidden technique? Was still in deep thought. Jingyan stood up tiredly. He got through the initial stage of opening the door. Kai was also panting beside him. Although he had opened the door and had not had time to fight, his physical energy and strength were still greatly consumed and he needed some time to rest. Namikaze Minato looked at the two of them. You two practiced the same forbidden technique. Forbidden technique. Yahiko and I was slightly startled and looked at Jingyan and Kai. Did you use some forbidden technique in order to solve the problem of not being able to control speed? I have read a lot of books. The book of the second Hokage mentioned the idea of unlocking the limitations of the brain and mentioned that it points to the opening of the 8 gates of the human body. Jingyan answered. He told the truth. The research notes that Tsunade requested back did mention the connection between the human body's door opening and the brain. The second Hokage made a guess, but did not conduct any further research. As for how Jingyan achieved this skill, that is something that cannot be explained. Open the door. Namikaze Minato's eyes narrowed, and he said, It's really reckless of you to rashly study such a dangerous ninjutsu. Kai, what about you? Well, my father taught me. He has been studying it for more than 10 years. Now it seems that he can open many doors. I am not sure about the details. Exclamation Namikaze Minato didn't know what to say. Might Guy's father, whom he vaguely remembered should be called Might Dai, was a genin who had not been promoted for many years. Then there was Kyouhiko, who was only 8 years old at most, but had managed to master the method of opening the opening on his own, thanks to some notes from the second Hokage. Are all the genin in our Konoha village so powerful? But Minato still wouldn't forget the necessary reminder. This is a forbidden technique. Father has instructed that it can only be used when it is necessary to protect. Might Guy answered. I understand the flaws and won't use them lightly. Jingyan changed the subject. Senior, could these people be ninjas from the Iwagakure village? It's hard to say. Namikaze Minato looked around. His shadow clone was using a sealing scroll to clean up the scene and found many traces, but so far, he did not dare to easily conclude that these people were the Iwagakure ninja. Earth-style ninjutsu is not exclusive to the Iwagakure village. What if the other ninja villages sent people to assassinate him, hoping to provoke a conflict between Konoha and Iwagakure? Collect as much evidence as possible and remove any traces of the battle. The teacher will judge the rest later. Minato Namikaze didn't think any more about it. Jingyan nodded. He helped collect things around him and clean up the traces, but in his heart he was thinking this group of people took action in the land of hot springs, but their target was him. It was not necessarily the Iwagakure village that took action, but on the eve of the Chunin exam, many ninja villages gathered together because of the neutrality of the Land of Waves. One side sent people to ambush and assassinate the Konoha team. It is not an exaggeration to accuse the Iwagakure village of attempting to sabotage cooperation. It may directly escalate into a serious diplomatic incident. Discuss this with the teacher later. End of this chapter. Chapter 48 I Don't Have Myself in My Heart. Chapter 48 I Don't Have Myself in My Heart. In the land of hot springs are everywhere, and the streets and alleys are filled with men and women who come here for the fame. Some of them are dressed as ninjas just like them. It seems to be safer around here. If you don't mind, we can stay in the town today and wait for the teacher to come find us. It will be safer this way. It's up to you, senior. Everyone had just been through a war, and even if they took the Bingling pills, it would be impossible for them to recover quickly. It is a reasonable choice to take a break here. Then I'll go and apply for residency. Namikaze Minato nodded. After a while, he and Jingyan gathered in the hotel room. Afterwards, Minato Namikaze took out the scroll and solemnly wrote down the process of their attack, and deliberately only wrote down the process and what he saw, without any subjective opinions. Then he bit his finger. After a moment, the chakra spread and a small toad appeared in the blood-spreading technique. Please help me bring this scroll to the teacher, it is good. The little toad responded, then bit the scroll and disappeared. Tangian Village. Jiraiya sat opposite the master and Dodai, pouring tea for them one by one, and the aroma of tea immediately filled the air. Master Yuan was about to say something. Suddenly, a toad jumped out from beside Jiraiya. He stopped talking immediately. Jiraiya, Minato asked me to bring this over, it is good. Jiraiya nodded, took down the scroll, opened it and took a look. His heart suddenly exploded like thunder. Being attacked. A ninja who uses earth escape. He raised his head and looked at the two people in front of him, wondering in his heart the possibility of the two villages launching an attack. There are very few earth-style ninjas in the Hidden Cloud Village. The probability is extremely low. The Hidden Mist Village. Jiraiya put away the scroll and said with a smile, I've been out for too long. The village asked me to go back. I guess I can't have tea with you guys. It doesn't matter. The Chunin exams are still a few days away anyway. The other two saw him off. Sent it over. Minato Namikaze tidied himself up and immediately reflected on today's situation. Those ninjas were very purposeful. It seemed like they came specifically to kill Jingyan. This was definitely not a simple matter. At this time, Kirana Yuhai and Might Guy were cleaning the rooms next door. Minato looked towards Kyouhiko. The teacher once said that his new student was very smart and had many ideas. Jingyan, do you have any ideas about this group of people? The direction is very clear. It's hard to say who made the move for now, but one thing is certain. Since I graduated, I have only fought with ninjas from the Hidden Mist Village. Jingyan said. Mist Hidden Village. Minato Namikaze thought about the news in the village. This kid is only now old, but he was able to catch people by surprise and cause a senior ninja like Biwa Juzo to suffer a great loss. It is not impossible that the Hidden Mist Village is afraid of him and deliberately leaked information or hired someone to ambush and assassinate him. Assassinating geniuses is something that every village would do during war, but in peacetime, this kind of thing is quite rare, and every country and every village has spies for each other. It's hard to prove that they were behind this. Why prove it? A hint of confusion appeared on Jingyan's face. Why? Oh, as soon as Minato Namikaze asked the question, he understood what Kyouhiko meant. If they wanted to seek justice from the Hidden Mist Village, they would naturally want evidence. But if they didn't want justice but wanted to fight back and make trouble for the Hidden Mist Village, then there is no need for evidence. He thought for a moment and shook his head gently. It is a peaceful time now, and it is not appropriate to do such a thing. Then, Namikaze Minato sighed softly, feeling deeply moved. Jingyan is only 7 or 8 years old! What were you doing when you were 7 or 8 years old? It seems that he is still going to school with Kushina, learning the knowledge and ninjutsu of the ninja school, and occasionally learning the knowledge of sealing techniques taught by Kushina. Gone. Kids nowadays are all working harder than the other! Minato Namikaze sighed. Then he looked at the time and immediately stood up. Go take a shower, and we'll talk in detail when the teacher comes over later. Yes. Even for Jiraiya, it would take 2 or 3 hours to get from Yukikure village to the border town of Yu country. Kyouhiko and Minato had already washed. The two of them discussed the key points of the teleportation technique for a while in the house. Although Jingyan has reached the Grandmaster level, different people have different ninjutsu and abilities, and their experience in using the instant body movement technique is not consistent. Like Minato, he was born with extremely quick reactions. His instant body flickering technique is often combined with kunai and Rasengan to create opportunities for one-hit kills, and he is very experienced in controlling the timing of his attacks. If Jingyan wants to reach the same level as him, he will probably have to further develop his White Fang sword skills. Furthermore, he shamelessly plagiarized Shisui's idea of the flickering technique. Minato was naturally impressed by his creativity. The two originally wanted to discuss how to use clone technique, shadow clone technique and instant body technique to achieve an effect similar to instant body Shisui, but unfortunately Jiraiya is here. I understand the situation. Minato, Kyouhiko, you are the ones who have experienced it, so please tell me your own judgment. Jiraiya looked at the two of them. Minato and Kyouhiko naturally expressed their thoughts. Then, Minato added, if the teacher asks me for my subjective judgment, I tend to think that it was indeed done by the Iwagakure ninja. I can't think of another Earth-style ninja of their level and scale except for the Iwagakure village. It's possible. The Iwagakure village has recovered very quickly in recent years, and some of Anoki's men are not very peaceful. Jiraiya nodded. He glanced towards Jingyan. What do you think? Teacher, this is what I think. Regardless of whether Anoki knew about it or not, and whether it was done by the Iwagakure village, we must condemn it, and we can link this attack to the destruction of the shipping agreement. Jingyan expressed his insignificant opinion. The Iwagakure village attacked the Konoha Genin. How big of a deal is that if you get serious? All you can do is an apology or hire a temporary worker to take the blame, but disrupting the peace talks between many ninja villages and disrupting the joint Chunin exams are different. Guide public opinion and escalate the incident. This type of operation was common in previous lives, but it was obviously a new trick in the ninja world. Jiraiya and Minato had never thought about it in this regard before, and they were both confused at this moment. However, they were both senior ninjas after all, and they were knowledgeable and experienced, so they quickly understood what was going on. Jiraiya smiled and said, I thought you would take this opportunity to let me teach you a life-saving ninjutsu. I was thinking about what to teach you. How is that possible? Teacher, I don't even have myself in my heart. Jingyan said firmly. Jiraiya chuckled. Minato broke out in a cold sweat. This kid really only thought about the big things in the village and never thought about how dangerous he was today. He was scared even when taking a shower at night, but Jingyan was like nothing happened. What a big heart! They can deny it or blame it on the traitors. Minato analyzed. Jiraiya had more intelligence and information, and his mind immediately became more active. The other ninja villages may not help us. They may not be happy to see us in conflict with the Hidden Rock village. But as you said, there is a high probability that the Hidden Mist village is involved behind this. Although there may be spies, their whereabouts and route are in the east. The Iwagakure village has very few spies stationed in this area. It is mostly the Kirigakure village that is conducting infiltration and reconnaissance in this area. The Hidden Mist village is definitely involved in this matter! Evidence. No evidence needed! Under the current situation, everyone has united to force the Hidden Mist village not to interfere in shipping, and any retaliation is possible. Whether it succeeds or not, a seed has been planted. I have an idea. How this should work still needs some thought. Jiraiya thought to himself. He is a peace-loving person, but the other party has even attacked his disciples. Can he still be friendly with them? End of this chapter. Chapter 49, Rain Ninja, Paper Ninjutsu. Chapter 49, Rain Ninja, Paper Ninjutsu. Outside Tangian Village, a group of 5 arrived safely. Tangian Village does not look much different from the surrounding villages and towns. It still has hot springs, birds singing and flowers blooming, beautiful scenery, and the architectural style remains highly consistent. This beautiful country really makes it easy for people to forget the hustle and bustle of the outside world. Jingyan looked around. There are many ninjas coming and going in the village. In addition to the ninjas from the Hidden Spring Village, there are also ninjas from the Hidden Mist Village and the Hidden Cloud Village. Most of them arrived early. They are the only ones who have arrived from Konoha so far. Is this Yuyan village? Zahai held the book in her hand, her eyes full of curiosity. A village that has forgotten the war. Peaceful village. She glanced around with her beautiful eyes, observing the conditions along the road, and then found that her brows were slightly furrowed. The streets are crowded with people, but quarrels and conflicts often occur. Arrived at the temporary residence. I heard that Yuyan village is a peace-loving village, but after entering the village, I felt that they seemed to be very unwelcoming to us. Zahai whispered. Maybe it's because they think our arrival has disrupted the peace in the village. Minato sighed. For the ninjas of Yuyan village, the people in their ninja village are brave and aggressive, and they definitely cannot live in complete peace with each other. The sudden increase in ninjazid is normal for a small area of chaos to occur in Tangian village. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When we arrive in Tangian village, we must abide by the local rules and try not to conflict with others. It is good. Everyone agreed in unison. Ah, Jingyan, let's have an exciting duel. Then let's play finger guessing. This is a competition that really tests your eyesight and reaction. Jingyan held out his hand calmly. Might Guy's eyes lit up and he agreed very much. That's right. Come on, rock, paper, scissors. Watching the rapid changes in the two people's hands, Zai Rai Hong sighed helplessly and moved her eyes back to the book in her hand. These two people are really idle. But this has been going on for several days. Teacher Jiraiya told them not to go out, and Kyouhiko had the same attitude, and they didn't know what was going on outside. I am back, what? Zihai Hong was startled and looked up to see Jingyan jumping down from the roof and landing next to her. She was stunned for a moment, then looked towards the courtyard. It turns out to be a shadow clone. Where did you go? Minato-senpai is going to Iwagakure village, so I went to see him off. Jingyan jumped down. It has been several days since he arrived at Iwagakure village. Namikaze Minato received an order to go to Iwagakure village to negotiate about the attack. Just as he thought, things got out of hand! Because not only Konoha was attacked, but the team from the Hidden Cloud village that came to the Hidden Tang village was also attacked. However, the other side just hit and ran away, and it is currently difficult to find out where they came from. There was the excellent example of the attack on Konoha, and Jiraiya followed with the publicity. The Hidden Cloud village was attacked, and the master of the Hidden Mist village quickly stated that it had nothing to do with them, but Tudai obviously didn't believe it. The relationship between the Hidden Mist village and the Hidden Cloud village cannot be said to be very good. Because the land of lightning is mountainous and has a harsh terrain and environment, it values ocean resources more than the land of fire. The friction between it and the Water Nation over shipping and ocean resources is much greater than that between it and the Fire Nation. As affiliated ninja villages, there are naturally many gaps between the two villages, and so the Kirigakure ninjas who have now come to Iwagakure village have put away their murderous nature and are as well behaved as the Iwagakure ninjas. Over there, Might Guy rode for a while, and suddenly saw Jingyan and Yuhai sitting there chatting. He was stunned for a moment, and then he reacted great. It's a shadow clone. Shadow clones don't affect duels. Jingyan smiled, but still released the shadow clone. Heaton was bored. He was about to speak when he heard a dong 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 sound outside. There are 3 people. Jingyan listened carefully. I'll open the door. Jingyan stood up to greet them. After opening the door, he saw 3 Konoha Genin who were slightly older than them standing outside, one of whom looked quite familiar. Yamashiro Ayaba. Judging from his attire and clothing style, it should be him. The ones on the sides should be similar, but I don't recognize the last one. They are a few years older than Jingyan and others, and graduated in the same class as Kakashi, so they do meet the requirements to take the exam. Hello, we are the second team to take the exam this time. Yamashiro Ayaba introduced himself. Each village was very cautious about this exam and did not easily send ninjas to participate. Those who can come here are elites. Jingyan nodded and was about to speak when he heard a strange sound. Okay. He looked behind them. Jingyan thought for a moment, then said, Everyone, come in first. Okay, thanks. Yamashiro Ayaba thanked him. Then they entered the courtyard, but the moment the 3 turned around and entered, Jingyan disappeared in an instant. On the tree across the street, a figure flashed by quickly and ran to the back, but the next moment he stood on the wall and dared not move. A knife was across his neck quickly. He didn't see it clearly just now, he just saw a streak of afterimages, and when he looked again, it was already in front of him. What a terrifying teleportation technique! The intelligence is correct. This guy's strength is really terrifying. The ninja with the knife at his neck was sweating profusely on his forehead. Although my swordsmanship is average, I still advise you not to move. Your body flash skills are definitely not faster than my sword, Jingyan said calmly. He looked at the other person and was startled when he saw the forehead protector. The opponent was not the expected Kirigakure ninja or Kyouhiko ninja, but a ninja from the Hidden Rain Village. There are indeed ninjas from the Hidden Rain Village participating in this exam, but what was he doing here to monitor? Jingyan was surprised, and then the knife moved closer to his neck. Who are you? Hadasuke, I'm a ninja from the Hidden Rain Village. The other person's face turned pale. Jingyan frowned. Hadasuke who? Not too impressed. Why are you following my companion? I have no ill intentions. I just heard something about you and came here out of curiosity, Hadasuke explained. Jingyan's eyes narrowed slightly. Even the ninjas of the Hidden Rain Village knew about his affairs. Somyeon is going to put himself on the fire. Where did you get the information about me? The other party hesitated. At this moment, a whoosh 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 sound suddenly rang out. Pieces of paper flew towards Jingyan. When Jingyan heard the sound, he immediately dodged to the side and chopped the incoming paper with his backhand, but Jisuke had already escaped from his knife and fled under the cover of the remaining papers. Paper. Zion and Jingyan looked in the direction where the paper flew. The opponent's breath was hidden very well, and he only caught the sound when he attacked. It's the Yahiko, and the others are probably not Genin anymore, and they don't have that deep a connection with the Hidden Rain Village. So why would they come to take part in the Chunin exam? Or, they were not here for the Chunin exams. Jingyan hesitated for a moment, put away the blade, and did not chase after him. Who are they? A ninja from the Hidden Rain Village. But he doesn't seem to have any bad intentions, he's just interested in us. Jingyan answered. A ninja from the Hidden Rain Village. The others were very surprised. Konoha and the Hidden Rain Village experienced a great war. In recent years, the policy of the Hidden Rain Village has become closed and moderate, and it rarely interacts with large villages such as Konoha. Unexpectedly, they also sent people to Kirigakure village for this joint Chunin exam. End of this chapter. Chapter 50. Yahiko. Teacher, I'm here to learn from you. Chapter 50. Yahiko. Teacher, I'm here to learn from you. Phew. That was close. I almost lost my life. Jisuke wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. At that moment, the opponent's knife was only an inch away from him, and he was just a step away from death! The other party held back. If he had tried to kill you, you would have died long ago. Zionin also let out a breath. The knife was too fast and there was no way to dodge or avoid it. What a terrifying speed. Luckily, the other party didn't chase me, otherwise, even I wouldn't have the confidence to run away without alerting too many people. The orange-haired young ninja just caught up from behind at this time. Thinking of what happened just now, he couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. The teacher's new student is really powerful. When he reaches our age, I'm afraid he can become the new generation of Konoha White Fang. I heard that the teacher has another student, but unfortunately we came too late and didn't have the chance to meet him. Sayaonan sighed. Yahiko nodded. I heard he went to Iwadakure village. Then he sighed pity. Yahiko sighed and sat down in the cave. It's a pity that there were too many people there. If we had contacted each other privately, we could have asked them to help contact the teacher. Why do you suddenly want to contact the teacher? You have always said that the affairs of the Rain Country need to be resolved by us, the Rain Country, and we should not think of asking the teacher for help. Sayaonan was extremely confused. Jisuk also paused and looked at Yahiko. In recent years, they have been working hard to protect civilians in the Rain Country. Some ninjas agreed with their ideas and joined them. Hadasuk was one of them. However, some time ago, Yahiko suddenly said that he wanted to come to Yukakure village to find Jiraiya. Konan and Yusuk didn't understand, but they still came along. Well, Yahiko pondered for a long time, then continued, I have a feeling that the teacher seems to have changed. Has it changed? Sayaonan was confused. Yahiko said, since Konoha has asked the teacher to go to Yuin village to take charge of the situation, it means that this matter was pushed by the teacher behind the scenes. The previous teachers would not do this. He paused and suddenly shook his head. No, that's not right. To be precise, I feel that now is the real way to achieve peace through dialogue, so I would like to ask the teacher for his current thoughts and ideas. Yahiko's ideal is to achieve peace between the Rain Kingdom and its surrounding countries through dialogue and mutual understanding, and then to change this tragic country of the Rain Kingdom. The multinational dialogue that took place in Tangian village gave him hope! Sayaonan looked strange after hearing this. Yahiko was extremely perceptive and asked, any questions? No, it's just a feeling. Although what you said makes sense, I always feel that it's weird and not like the teacher's style. What a quick knife. Yamashiro Aoba rubbed his eyes and whispered, is this guy really not Kakashi? No, Jingyan is very fast and he chooses the timing and target very well, but his sword skills, well, the basics are very solid. After thinking for a while, I finally came up with a more positive word. The corner of Yu Haihong's mouth twitched slightly. It's really hard for you to think about it for so long. Jingyan has only been practicing swordsmanship for about 2 months, and he really has a solid foundation. 2 months. Might Guy, Yamashiro Aoba, and Bizule all looked across at once. Good guy! This effect only lasts for 2 months. Bingzu Leidong's hand unconsciously grasped the hilt of the knife, pursed his lips, and an expression of envy could not help but appear on his face. He also wants such talent! What are you talking about? Aren't you going in? Jingyan came back instantly. He just went to observe the situation of Yahiko and the others leaving. There were many traps on the road, and it was not easy to chase, so I simply turned back waiting for you. Sehahong looked at her with some concern. Are you not hurt? No, they are just some non-dangerous traps. They probably don't want to make a big deal out of it. Open the door and come in. We sat down and chatted for a while. The war had only been over for a few years, and most ninjas had been promoted to chunin, and most of those who had just graduated were not strong enough. For safety reasons, there are only 2 teams at the moment. There aren't many people here anyway, so you can just rest here for a while and make arrangements when Sensei Jiraiya arrives. It is good. At dusk, Kyouhiko was waiting for Jiraiya to come back, but he first waited for the system's prompt. Proper use of personnel and good leadership. Under the guidance of your strategy, the village received compensation and gained a lot of reputation reward. Clone technique increases by 1 level. Clone technique. Jingyan was surprised. Immediately, he vaguely understood the reason. For things like this that benefit the village, the reward is often to choose an upgrade from one of your own ninjutsu, but this time, the matter actually did not bring much benefit to Konoha. What's more, the reputation of Iwagakure village suffered a great loss. Furthermore, Winoki probably didn't care either. The Iwagakure village recovered very quickly. According to Jiraiya, the number of pro-war factions has increased in recent years. War is inevitable. Relatively speaking, there may be more people in the Hidden Mist village who are troubled, but for me, rewards are more important. The master-level clone technique may one day be able to achieve an effect similar to Shisui's instant teleportation. Inside the house, Jingyan was carefully comprehending the master-level clone technique. He has been secretly studying the art of clones recently, but has made little progress. If he wants to truly improve, he needs to learn more illusion techniques, and understand and master more illusion knowledge and skills. That would be quite a distraction. Upgrading now would save some trouble. More detailed control, using illusion techniques to guide chakra to affect the enemy in this case. Several plans emerged in Jingyan's mind. At present, it is really difficult to reach the level of Shisui, and there is still hope to improve the level of illusion to the Grandmaster level. The reasonable solution is reduce the number of clones. Secondly, you can integrate into the shadow clone to confuse people. Can try. Jingyan had a smile on his face. What are you thinking about? You're laughing. At this moment, Jiraiya's voice came from outside. Jingyan came back to his senses and immediately opened the window. Jiraiya was squatting on the eaves outside with a smile on his face, looking in a good mood. The window opened and he jumped in immediately. Jingyan said, "Teacher, I just thought of using the clone technique and shadow clone technique together with the instant body technique to achieve a stronger deception effect." Avatar, instant body combination. Jiraiya thought about it for a moment and understood what Kyouhiko was thinking. This tactic is indeed very terrifying if used properly, but it requires extremely high skills and clone skills. This requires a very high level of mastery of the art of clones. So, I want to ask the teacher to help see if it is feasible. By the way, teacher, there are several ninjas from the Hidden Rain village here today. Jingyan stated his purpose and then told about his encounter with Yusuke. Jiraiya didn't react at first, but hearing about paper ninjutsu, he stood up immediately, his face showing surprise and astonishment. It's her. Why are they coming to Tangyan village? Teacher knows them? No wonder. I feel like they have a purpose, but no ill intentions. They are old acquaintances of the teacher, so that makes sense. Well, this is a story from after the war. Jiraiya looked dazed, but still told the story of the past. He believed that Jingyan had mature enough thinking and judgment. Well, now that teacher said that, I feel like, is it possible that they are here for the Wave Country Agreement? What? Using communication and mutual understanding as a bridge to achieve peace. Isn't this what you call Yahiko's philosophy? This Jiraiya felt that what he had been doing recently had nothing to do with communication and mutual understanding, but if you think about it carefully, there seems to be a connection, but the way of communication is more about using alliance and force to force the other party to agree, and so Yahiko came to him for advice. However, his actions were entirely due to Jingyan's influence. If I go to see Yahiko and Konan, should I bring Kyouhiko with me? Jiraiya looked towards Kyouhiko, his gaze gradually becoming strange. End of this chapter. Chapter 51. My junior brother is too strong. Chapter 51. My junior brother is too strong. It is a rare night in Tangyan village with continuous drizzle. Yahiko stood at the entrance of the cave, looking at the rain outside, and couldn't help but sigh softly. When I was in the rain country, I hated the constant rainy weather, but when I got outside and suddenly saw a rainy day like this, I missed it a little bit. Zionin looked outside and said after a moment of silence, "After all, it is our country. No matter how bad their motherland is, they hope to make the country better rather than abandon it." "Yahiko, Konan, I'm back." Kyouhiko's voice came from outside. In the rain, he ran here quickly in a raincoat. Zionin observed him for a while and then breathed a sigh of relief. "It's Hadasuke. Although we followed the other Aimgakure ninjas here, Hadasuke came through the proper channels, so there won't be anyone following him." Yahiko sat down and warmed himself by the fire. He was about to speak when Zionin's eyes suddenly fixed and he maintained a seal gesture with his hands. "I searched for a long time. Fortunately, you guys still have to go out to buy food, otherwise it would be a bit troublesome." Jingyan's voice came from outside. Jisuke turned around immediately with a look of surprise on his face. "You are the person from the daytime?" "I don't want to do it in the daytime in a peaceful village. This time I think we can have a good talk about why you are following our Konoha people." Jingyan said this, forming seals with his hands. 1 point is 2, 2 points is 8. The 8 figures all seemed real and illusory, and it was impossible to tell which was true or false. Zionin immediately changed his seals, and then pieces of paper flew out from the surrounding mountain walls, turning into shurikens and killing the 8 Jingyan. However, there were flashes of swords and shadows in the darkness, and all the shurikens were avoided or chopped into pieces by the 8 figures. "Misunderstand," Hadasuke yelled, but seeing the enemy coming towards them, he could only draw his knife. Jisuke swung his sword at the person in front of him, and saw the figure in front of him disappear, and the next moment appeared in the cave behind him. "What? How can it be this too fast?" exclamation. He couldn't believe it, and it was too late to stop it. Yahiko observed for a while, formed a seal, and shot out a water needle to the left, but the ninjutsu quickly penetrated the opponent's body. When exclamation on the right side, he took out the kunai from his sleeve, held it in his hand, and instantly blocked the knife coming from the right. Yahiko backhandedly kicked Kyouhiko, but the next moment, the figure in front disappeared. "Wow." Konan turned into pieces of paper, flew in all directions, and finally gathered beside Yahiko. Yahiko took a deep breath. He understood. There were 8 people, but only 2 were physical. However, the opponent's instant body movement was too fast, and combined with the clone technique that was difficult to distinguish between the real and the fake, it became very difficult to deal with. Each one may be physical, but each one may also be intangible. Unless one can use ninjutsu to limit its speed, or has extremely strong insight, it is difficult to crack this terrifying combination of ninjutsu. Of course, there is another way: just be faster than the other person. You are very fast, but you are too young. If you grow up a few more years, this fighting method may really be unstoppable. Yahiko stood by the fire and couldn't help exclaiming, "You are really talented. If you continue to grow, you might become the next Konoha White Fang." His performance surprised Yahiko and Konan. Too strong exclamation. Previously, he thought the rumor that the Iwagakure village sent its elites to deal with a child may have been exaggerated, but now it seems that this may not be the case and may even have been underestimated. With Ryomine Kyouhiko's strength and talent, any ninja village hostile to Konoha would be unable to restrain themselves. The teacher is so lucky. Yahiko sighed inwardly. First it was Nagabo, then it was Konoha Namikaze Minato, and now it was Ryomine Kyouhiko. All geniuses. Sure enough, the teacher is lucky. The peace of the ninja world depends on the teacher. Yahiko calmed down and said, "It is true that Konoha and the Hidden Rain village had a feud before, but it was all over with the war. Besides, I can sense that you have no intention of killing, so you probably didn't come here to kill us." After hearing this, Jiaju immediately breathed a sigh of relief. The other party is too fast exclamation. If the opponent came to kill them, even if Yahiko and Konan were not afraid, he was afraid that he would not be able to defeat him at the moment. "Are you sure that I won't really kill you?" Jingyan asked back. "You didn't attack Jiaju. We both have ways to circumvent it." Yahiko answered truthfully. Jingyan is young, and his speed can still keep up. Conan's origami technique is enough to avoid attacks like swordsmanship. Jingyan was in deep thought, pondering the shortcomings. Kyouhiko, your technique is fine, but you are currently limited by your own ability and age. If your opponent is faster than you and can see your trajectory, this tactic will have flaws. A voice came from outside, interrupting his thoughts. Zionan's eyes widened, and then a look of ecstasy appeared on his face. Teacher, is that you? Teacher. Yahiko and Conan were both extremely happy. The two rushed out of the cave in the rain, only to see Jiraiya quietly jumping down from a tree not far away under the rain. It was Jiraiya. Yahiko, Conan, you have made great progress. You are now at the level of a Jonin in a great ninja village. That's great. Where's Nagato? Why didn't he come? Or... Jiraiya's tone gradually became hesitant and solemn. Nagato's talent and samsara eye can easily be spied on by others. No, Nagato is fine. It's just that we have quite a few companions now. Some of them are like-minded friends like Hadasuke, and some are orphans who have lost their parents and are adopted and taught by us. Zionan hurriedly explained. Jiraiya finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fine, that's good. Jingyan put away his knife and stood in the cave. Teacher, please come in and chat. Although the rain is not heavy, there is no need to chat in the rain. All right. Hearing that all his disciples were safe and doing well in the hidden rain village, Jiraiya was in a good mood and his steps were much lighter. He was really afraid that Yahiko and Conan would bring news that he didn't want to hear. Inside the cave, Yahiko recounted the actions and situations of the past 2 to 3 years. Yahiko, thank you for your hard work over the years. After hearing this, Jiraiya was filled with emotion. The career of Yahiko and his colleagues was basically planned by Yahiko, while Conan and Nagato were more like executors. As a high-ranking official in Konoha who had commanded battlefields before, Jiraiya knew all too well the feeling of having the responsibility of a group of people resting on his shoulders. It's not that difficult, but I'm very confused about the future. I heard that the teacher is leading the other countries to force the Water Kingdom to make concessions so that the Wave Kingdom can avoid war and return to peace. I thought about it and plucked up the courage to come here to ask the teacher for advice. Yahiko said, standing up and apologizing to Kyouhiko. He followed the Konoha ninja, but he really didn't know where to find Jiraiya. I thought that since you have only started studying with the teacher this year, Hadasuke's ability should be hidden from you. Wait until the teacher shows up and then give him the information. This way, it won't embarrass the teacher. He's already hidden it very well, but I've got some special training in this area. Jingyan waved his hand to indicate that it was okay. As a ninja from a hidden rain village, Hadasuke had returned long ago, and what he said was very straightforward. It's not that Hadasuke is too bad, but he happens to be strong in this area. People like Uchiha and Yamashiro Aoba were unaware of the other party's whereabouts. Jingyan thought someone was following him only after hearing the strange noise of the other party climbing up the tree. After testing, he found out that it was true. Yahiko and Conan looked at each other and sighed quietly. In every aspect, Hadasuke is already one of the best among the three of them, but he is restricted by Kyouhiko's speed. Konoha's Genin is too strong. I wonder how many people like Jingyan there are in Konoha. End of this chapter. Chapter 52. Chapter. Do you have the strength to do this? Chapter 52 Dialogue. Do you have the ability? Inside the cave, the bonfire was bright. After reminiscing about the past, both of them felt much calmer. Jiraiya, Yahiko, and Conan were eating barbecue and chatting while eating. Teacher, the situation in Rain Country is similar to that in Wave Country. Can peace be achieved by doing something similar to what you did in Wave Country? Jiraiya didn't answer immediately. The situation in the Land of Waves is definitely different from that in the Land of Rain. There is no ninja village in the Wave Country now. Everyone can reach a neutral and win-win agreement at the national and ninja village levels to meet the requirements of all parties except the water country that needs to expand at sea. It is for this reason that this plan was successfully implemented and the current state of peace was achieved. The Land of Rain has the hidden rain village and Hanzo, so it is destined to be impossible to copy them. As for achieving peace for everyone through dialogue and mutual understanding, it's probably difficult! Jiraiya's face was burning. A big reason why Yahiko has his current thoughts is that he was influenced by him. His current thinking is slightly different from the past, so he can think of the flaws in his past thinking, but when it comes to specifically solving the problems of the Rain country, he has no answer in his heart. Jiraiya glanced towards Kyouhiko. Need help? Hateful. Who is the apprentice? Jiraiya, you are so outrageous. Kyouhiko, what do you think? What? Jingyan was at a loss. Aren't you here to test the effects of ninjutsu? Why is it my business to? Not only was he stunned, Yahiko and Konan were also dumbfounded. They looked at Jiraiya in astonishment, and for a moment they couldn't understand what Jiraiya meant. This is a big thing, the teacher asked a child. No matter how talented or capable Jingyan is, does he still know the meaning of peace and war? May be a test. They looked at Jiraiya, then at Kyouhiko. The Rain country is not quite the same as the Wave country. Jingyan pondered for a moment and then expressed his thoughts. Yahiko felt amused, but he still pretended to be serious and replied seriously, "What do you mean? The conflict in Wave country can be resolved peacefully, provided that the only one who suffers is the Water country. At that time, the enemies that my teacher and I encountered in Wave country were mostly from the Water country," Jingyan answered. Yahiko originally had some intention of helping with the questions, but soon he no longer had such thoughts and listened to Kyouhiko attentively. After he finished speaking, he still felt unsatisfied. "What about our Rain country?" "I don't know about the Rain country, but your national strength is definitely stronger than the Wave country, and you are directly sandwiched between three major countries. If you want peace." Kyouhiko looked at Jiraiya. "Teacher, I'm young and don't know what to do. Do you have an answer?" "I have a hammer answer," Jiraiya complained inwardly. If he wants an answer, he doesn't have to remain silent until now. The situation in the Rain country is indeed different from that in the Wave country. I have been thinking hard for the past 2 or 3 years but have not found any answer. So sorry, I have embarrassed you, teacher. Yahiko sighed, realizing that Jiraiya had no good solution. Come to think of it, Jiraiya must have a way. He would have reached the Rain country long ago without them coming to him. They believe in teachers. But, Senior Yahiko, there is something I am not sure if I should say. Jingyan hesitated for a moment and decided to take advantage of it. Yahiko turned his head and swore solemnly. Please believe me and the teacher that today's conversation will not be heard by anyone except Nagato. Otherwise I will be cut into pieces. Jiraiya hesitated for a moment, but finally held his words back. He has no desires and is not afraid of slander or rumors. Whereas Jingyan child is only 8 years old, extremely talented and has a bright future. If he is caught by Danzo's men because he is not keeping things secret, he will be doomed to death. I don't know the situation in your Rain country, but I think you need to consider one thing. Jingyan asked. Do you have the ability to talk to Hanzo? Hanzo? With Hanzo, Jiraiya was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized. Yes. Yahiko and his companions are developing their own power in the Land of Rain, which is equivalent to a ninja organization outside of the family form secretly developing in the Land of Fire. It would be fine if they didn't know, but once it was known, would Konoha give up? Never will. His expression was serious. Yes, Yahiko, only by surviving first can there be a future. Are you qualified now to let Hanzo and Heki sit down and talk? Why did the Wave country thing succeed? Because the interest groups centered on Konoha and the Hidden Cloud Village are enough to deter the Water Kingdom. The basis of dialogue is strength. The current Yahiko obviously does not have the ability to compete with Hanzo. so the survival and continuation of the organization depends on Hanzo's mood. The ability to talk to Hanzo, Yahiko muttered to himself, and then a look of shock and disbelief appeared on his face. He understood what Kyouhiko and Jiraiya meant, but that's why Yahiko was shocked. The teacher was initially misled by him and kept thinking about how to achieve peace, until the child in front of him hit the nail on the head, and then he realized the crisis they were facing. No wonder the teacher brought him here. Yahiko is very smart. He quickly realized that a person's thinking and ideas would not change suddenly. The teacher must have had many changes in his ideas and behavior patterns after meeting Jingyan. Otherwise, why didn't the teacher take any action before this year? This child is the key. Yahiko's eyes were eager, but then they became dark again. It's a pity that he is from Konoha. He bit his lip in thought, scratching his hair in distress. At present, Master Hanzo has not shown any unusual attitude, and the reason we are together is to help the Rain Country. If we leave the Rain Country, nothing can be accomplished without unity of mind. Yahiko knew that if the philosophy of a team collapsed, it would not be far from destruction. There is a place that is still in chaos and blankness. Jingyan reminded. Yahiko said, Kawa no Kuni? The Kingdom of Rivers, located south of the Kingdom of Rain, is currently a country without any ninja villages. It is full of wandering samurai and wandering ninjas. It is a no-man's land, however. It is also a country caught in the middle. Once the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Fire go to war, the ninja organization in the Kingdom of Rivers may be targeted and may even face the risk of being wiped out of course. If you are strong enough, you will have the opportunity to become a mercenary. Jingyan didn't explain it very clearly, but Jiraiya was very familiar with this. As long as he took the lead, Jiraiya would quickly sort out the situation. Yahiko's face switched between confusion, excitement, and worry. Going to the river country, Xeonin thought for a while and said worriedly, if we want to go to the Kingdom of Rivers, we should go south, right? Otherwise, we will be easily attacked from both sides. Ah, Yahiko nodded. Although it is jumping from one quagmire to another, at least there is no ninja village in River Country at present. In the short term, they can develop in secret and safely. No matter what you choose, only by becoming strong enough can you have a say and truly influence a country. Before that, you must survive carefully, especially Nagato. Jiraiya didn't elaborate on Nagato's matter, but he believed that Yahiko and Konan could understand. Yahiko and Konan bowed deeply to Jiraiya and Kyouhiko. Then, Yahiko said, Teacher, Kyouhiko, thank you. I am no longer confused now. I hope we won't meet on the battlefield. There were some things that were inappropriate for Jiraiya to say, but Kyouhiko still had to say them. He doesn't want to aid the enemy. Yahiko said solemnly, Definitely not. Our goal is peace. I will convey any possible news to you as soon as possible. End of this chapter. Chapter 53, Challenge. I and 039 am definitely better than you. Chapter 53, Challenge. I'm definitely better than you! Exclamation on the way back. Jiraiya remained silent. Jingyan followed behind, sighing that the system did not respond, although it was expected. Yahiko and his men are heading south to avoid the power of the Rain Country and the Earth Country, and are temporarily lying low to strengthen themselves. This will not be of any benefit to Konoha in the short term, but there is no doubt that their attitude is definitely inclined towards Konoha. If a war breaks out with the Sand Village in the future, Yahiko's side, who are hiding and developing in the River Country, may become a helper and source of intelligence for Konoha. Reward or something. Only when Yahiko actually implements it and takes corresponding measures will there be real feedback and rewards. This is a long-term investment. It was just a casual stroke, and it wouldn't do him much harm at the moment, not to mention whether Nagato and his companions can stay in the River Country for a long time is still unknown. Would Ban let them go so easily? Hard to say. As they were about to return to Kirigakure village, Jiraiya broke the silence. Kyouhiko. Teacher, rest assured, I will keep it a secret for you. Jingyan answered. Jiraiya laughed dumbly and shook his head. That's not it. Promise me that you will ensure your own safety, because you are important to me, to Tsunade, and to Konoha. Jiraiya is also very serious. Compared to Minato and Nagato, he now feels that Kyouhiko might be the son of prophecy he has been waiting for. As for Tsunade, Jiraiya believes that Tsunade may be transferring some of her emotions and expectations to Kyouhiko at the moment, and her condition in Konoha has clearly improved recently. If Kyouhiko died, Jiraiya could imagine how crazy Tsunade would be at that time, and he would not be able to forgive himself either. Teacher, don't talk about unfortunate things. It will affect your luck. Ah, ha, that's true. Amidst laughter, the two quietly returned to the yard and released the shadow clones that remained at home, of course. The two shadow clones were all created by Jiraiya. In the following days, Jingyan has been trying to perfect the combination of instant body movement technique and clone technique. The clone technique and shadow clone technique need to be further improved. It will be difficult for the former to make any progress in the short term unless he delve deeper into illusion techniques. But Jingyan has been using the latter and has gained considerable experience recently. He felt vaguely, relying on himself, the shadow clone might be about to break through. In the following days, he kept asking Jiraiya about the tricks and key points of shadow clone, comparing and verifying them with the problems he was currently facing at last. On the eve of the Chunin exam's name, Yashamine Kyouhiko age, 7 years old bloodline limit, nun skill : transformation mastered, clone technique master, substitute technique mastered, instantaneous body technique grandmaster, water style, water wave mastered, water style, water array wall mastered, shadow clone mastered, super strength technique experienced, white fang sword technique beginner mastery level shadow clone ! It means a lot to Jingyan, because the proficiency of shadow clones was practiced by Jingyan himself from beginning to end, and it is not easy to reach the mastery level. There is not much difference in the mastery level shadow clone, it is more about the control of the shadow clone's chakra, so that the clone is faster and the intermediate loss of chakra return when it is released is reduced. It may seem insignificant, but if the details are paid attention to, you may be able to unleash an extra ninjutsu. But whether it is shadow clone or clone technique, they are just tricks used to enhance confusion. The real killer moves are still the knife and super strength. At this time, there was a noise coming from downstairs. Kyouhiko, let's go, it is good. Today is the day when the Chunin exams begin. Jingyan packed up his things and went downstairs to catch up with the team in front. Outside of Yukikure village, a site consisting of a dormant volcano, forest, and stream became the examination venue for the joint Chunin exam. Almost all the ninja villages on the east side came to take part in this exam, with only a few such as the Iwagakure village and the Sandagakure village not participating. Outside the examination room, ninjas from various villages gathered. Just glance at it. There are a few familiar faces over at Kirigakure. Hoshigaki Kasama, Hazuki Mangetsu, and a young girl who looked familiar. The Hidden Cloud Village. He didn't know the others, but there was one person who stood out. Her beige hair was simply braided, and her face looked very young, probably only about 6 or 7 years old. At this moment, her eyes were glancing around coldly. Judging from his appearance, this person is most likely the Two-Tails Jinchuriki of Kyouhiko, the two of whom are wooden men. The Jinchuriki are here. Union is crazy? Jingyan suppressed his surprise and continued to observe the others. In the corners of the crowd, many ninjas from small ninja villages were standing scattered around, including Hadazuke. Then he noticed a squad. Judging from the forehead protector, they should be ninjas from Kyouhiko. The reason why I noticed them lots of ninjas. I haven't taken part in the Chunin exams in so many years, and the result is bad luck. It would be great if that new red-haired girl was here. I heard that she has medical skills. Shut up. The Jonin in front shouted at them, and the three of them dared not say anything anymore. Jingyan's heart moved. Red-haired woman. Medical capabilities. Karin's mother. He glanced over there, scanning and memorizing their appearance. The Jonin seemed to sense something and looked towards Konoha. When he saw Jiraiya in front of him, he nodded slightly with a smile on his face. The two sides greeted each other. Jiraiya turned around and smiled. The first exam is about to start. Let's go in. Yes. Kai was so impatient that he was the first to go to the temporary examination room at the foot of the mountain, followed closely by Zai Rai Hong. Jingyan took a few steps. Jiraiya caught up from behind. Kyouhiko. Teacher, do you have any instructions? Jingyan stopped. Jiraiya hesitated for a moment and whispered, as long as you are safe, help your fellow villagers as much as possible, at least save their lives. Yes, teacher, I know. Jingyan nodded. After entering the pen, all of their own Jonin stayed away and soon the place became noisy. Jingyan searched for a while among the chaotic noises before he found Kai and Yue who had gone in first. They were with Yamashiro Aoba and the other two is about to pass. Are you Ryamine Kyouhiko? A cold voice came from beside him. Girl with ricey hair color. The second one is made of wood. Jingyan nodded. Ninja from Kirigakure, what's the matter? The girl breathed a sigh of relief. But soon, her expression changed from relaxed to serious and a little nervous. My name is Yahiko, and I want to challenge you in the next exam. No problem. You look younger than me, so your academic performance must not be as good as mine. Jingyan laughed. The girl's face suddenly turned red and then quickly became cold and indifferent. I'm talking about the battle, not the first test. If I can meet him, Jingyan said, turning around and moving forward to meet up with Kai. Although it is a bit tricky to deal with the Jinchuriki without sealing techniques, if he happens to meet one, Jingyan really wants to see the gap between himself and the Jinchuriki. The two Yumirin didn't get a correct answer, so they said immediately, I'll go find you. Jingyan waved his hand, non-committal. In the crowd, Guiding Man Yu had a complicated expression, but did not dare to say anything harsh. The last fight really discouraged him. In comparison, Hoshigaki Kasama was more eager to fight and looked excited. This time I want to wash away the humiliation. He was very unconvinced after losing last time, and thought that he failed because he didn't know Jingyan well enough. If it happens again, he will never lose to the Konoha ninja who also practices water jutsu because of his advantage in ninjutsu. For this, he even mocked Mangetsu Kiss. End of this chapter. Chapter 54, Clone Technique. It seems to be all real. Chapter 54, Clone Technique. It seems to be all real. Kyouhiko. Yahiko and I looked at the two Yukidos who were leaving and returning to the ninja formation of the Hidden Cloud Village. What did she want you to do? You said you wanted to challenge me. Jingyan explained simply. And there was a hint of doubt in Zihahong's eyes. It is really puzzling that the Hidden Cloud Village allowed such a young girl to take part in the Chunin exam, or this girl named Yukito, like Kakashi a year or two ago, had the ability to graduate early not long after entering school. Compared to Yahiko and I, Kai was very excited. If they come, we can have a chance to fight with the people from the Hidden Cloud Village and see how strong they are. Fighting, what I want! Not only Kai. Some other ninjas from the Hidden Cloud Village and the Hidden Mist Village had the same attitude. Children who grew up during the war years are mostly more bellicose and competitive. After finally getting the chance to fight against other ninja villages, everyone was rubbing their hands in excitement and wished they could skip the first theoretical exam. However, after a while, everyone was sweating profusely. You need to answer 7 out of questions correctly to pass. If it was Jingyan who just graduated, he might not have much confidence, but now, he just scanned it and didn't need to collect any information at all, and he finished answering the questions quickly. For Jingyan, it is not difficult, because when he was training at home, he often sent a shadow clone to read the notes and books of the second Hokage. Over time, his knowledge reserves were incomparable to those of his peers, but for many genin from small ninja villages, such questions may be a little difficult. It seems that the purpose of this first round is to eliminate most unqualified ninjas and avoid them from dying in vain in the second round. I hope the team from Kyouhiko village won't be wiped out. The faces of those three people appeared in Jingyan's mind. The Uzumaki clan. If they could lure a special Uzumaki clan member back to the village, it would definitely be a great benefit to Konoha, and he would definitely be able to get a reward. If I miss the opportunity, I will really become the third Hokage. An hour and a half later, the first exam was over and the results were posted outside. There are quite a few that got full marks, but definitely not many. First place, Kyouhiko, you're number 1. Yahiko and I happily hugged Jingyan's arms. Jingyan was slightly stunned, but seeing how happy she looked, he couldn't withdraw his attention, so he had to maintain his attitude and said, "Fortunately, the test questions are relatively simple." Then he looked at the list. There were many people who scored full marks, but his name was listed as first. Countdown second place, Mei Terumi. Did she graduate? Jingyan remembered that she should be the same age as himself and Kakashi. Maybe the month was different, but the graduation examination of the Hidden Mist Village was terrifyingly strict. She passed it ahead of time. At this moment, as the crowd gathered around, shouts of joy and excitement rose one after another. Suddenly, a familiar voice jumped out from the chaotic voices, and Jingyan looked in one direction. The three from Kyouhiko village before pass. Yeah, great. All three of them were very happy. As a ninja from a small ninja village, being able to pass the first level is enough to prove one's excellence. After returning, one will definitely have a better future than those who were eliminated. Jingyan looked over. Then he watched the three men walk towards entrance number 2. Kyouhiko. Kira and Yuhai came closer and held hands with him, lowering her voice. Is there any situation with the three people from Kyouhiko village? Go in and talk, Jingyan said, looking at the corresponding entrance number above. He, Yuhai, Kiranai, and Kai were all at entrance no. 1, while Yamashiro Aaba and the others were at entrance no. 5. Exits 1 and 2 are adjacent to each other, but it's far away from no. 5. As Jingyan walked, he looked towards Yamashiro Aaba. Coincidentally, this senior, who was 3 years older than him, also looked at him. After spending a few days together, Yamashiro Aaba knew very well who had the final say in their team. Jingyan calmly made a 2 gesture. Go to exit 1. Before them, there was already a team that had signed the life and death agreement, and that was the team led by Hoshigaki Kasame. You're also at no. 1, haha, that's just right. Kasama Kisaki sneered. After observing for a while, he asked, where is the other one in your team? Why did you change to such a rare beast? Kasama was impressed by Kyouhiko's team. At that time, in addition to Kyouhiko and Yuhai and I, there was also a fainted child being carried on the back of a toad, but it was definitely not the strange and exotic creature in front of him with strange attire. Kai didn't care at first, but when he heard the word rare beast, he immediately looked at Kasame. He stared at Kasame for a long while. Then rare beast? Kai, he seems to look down on you. Jingyan smiled. Might Guy stared at Hoshigaki Kasame, gave him a thumbs up and said, youth does not allow retreat. When we meet in the examination hall, I will let him know how powerful I am. He was used to being looked down upon, but when facing ninjas from other villages, Kai would not act as if nothing had happened in a friendly manner like he did with the ninjas in the village. He secretly remembered this incident. Konoha's ninjas who want to take the second exam must first sign a consent form. If one person doesn't sign, the whole team no problem. Jingyan took the 3 copies, distributed them to Hong and Kai, and picked up the pen beside him and started writing quickly. The ninjas from Yuyin village were a little stunned. Both teams are so decisive! After a while, the teams gathered and all 4 signed the consent form. The Tangian ninja explained the rules. Your destination is the crater. There will be 2 Jonin waiting there. You can choose the nearest Jonin to get the intelligence scroll, but you must obtain 2 different intelligence scrolls at the same time to advance. Crater, catch the pair to get the scroll. Strong teams gather at the crater, and in the end there will definitely be a big fight. Only a few can be promoted, and at least half will be eliminated. It's very difficult! Jingyan became a little excited. It's interesting only when it's difficult! The rules have been read out, and the exam begins. The next moment, whoosh! The 4 teams at Gate 1 disappeared instantly. After a while, Yahiko and I quickly caught up and whispered beside Jingyan. Jingyan, there is a team chasing us. It should be the Kirigakure gang. As expected, Jingyan was not surprised. He looked ahead, then fixed his eyes on a huge rock on the slope ahead. The view over there is blocked, which is suitable for ambush. I'll use my shadow clones and clone jutsu to ambush and block them on the rock above. We'll go to number 2 to intercept the Kyouhiko team. It is good. Out of mutual trust, Yahiko and I and Kai did not ask the reason. Be careful of ambush. Kasame, Mangetsu Hazuki, and Mei Terumi followed and saw the huge rock. All of them treated it with caution. They formed hand seals slowly so that they could release ninjutsu instantly after rushing forward, but as they rushed up the rocks, in an instant, the sword suddenly appeared! Gui Deng Man Yu immediately swung his sword and killed him. The muscles in his arms swelled, and the blade in his hand, which was thicker and larger than an ordinary samurai sword, whizzed towards Jingyan. The art of bold water wrist! However, the expected collision did not occur. Bang! The knife hit the ground, causing stone chips to fly everywhere. Clone technique. The ghost lantern full moon immediately reminded. But the next moment, the clone passed him. Wow! His arm turned into a splash of water. Then boom! Kasama held a kunai and it collided with Kyouhiko's sword. At the same time, a clone of Mei Terumi also came towards her. She immediately formed a seal, but Jingyan is too fast! Before she finished her last seal, Jingyan was already in front of her. Seeing that Kasama and Mangetsu are both their real bodies, how could Mei Terumi dare to gamble with her own life? Whoosh! There was a slight sound of wind and the blade sank, whistling past her ear. It seems all true. End of this chapter. Chapter 55 Mei Terumi, No Moral Principles, Targeting Others. Chapter 55 Mei Terumi, No Moral Principles, Targeting Others. I do not believe. Hoshigaki Kasama looked unhappy. Is it all true? Where does this kid get so much chakra? Impossible! Absolutely impossible! He formed seals with his hands, and instantly mist filled the surroundings. Kirigakure no jutsu. But the purpose of this mist hiding technique is not to conceal one's whereabouts, but to determine through the effect of the mist hiding technique, is it true or false? But the next moment, the 3 clones disappeared at the same time. What about people? They ran away. They were all clones. Not sure if they were shadow clones or clone jutsu. Kasama cancelled the mist hidden technique and looked grim. He was given a cold shoulder and had no way to fight back, which really made him depressed. What's even more painful is, after a delay, they could no longer sense where the other party was going. They could only confirm that the 3 people were walking diagonally upwards, seemingly heading towards exit 2. Want to chase? Mei Terumi looked at her 2 companions. The team was temporarily formed to form the strongest team in the village. She is the youngest and doesn't want to fight for the right to speak in the team, but if she is allowed to express her opinion, don't chase. It is difficult to tell the real from the fake among Jingyan's 3 clones. So this attack is obviously just a small warning, and he does not want to get entangled with them anymore. If they really catch up and fight, it is still unknown who will win or lose. Gui Deng Man Yu pondered for a moment and suggested, go up there and get the scroll. We'll meet again eventually. The examination site in Tangyan village is a dormant volcano. There are 8 entrances around the mountain, with about 3 or 4 teams at each entrance. With the ability of the Konoha team, they will be able to reach the top of the mountain unless they encounter special circumstances. Hoshigaki Kasama was unwilling to give in. Try again. If you can't catch up, go up again. Still chasing? After a while, Jingyan heard some noise behind him. He frowned slightly. Are you going to ambush them? Where are the people from Kyouhiko? Jingyan looked at Yahiko. In their team, Jingyan's hearing is just better at distinguishing subtle sounds, not farther than others, so Yahiko's long-distance perception and reconnaissance capabilities are more needed. Wait a moment. Zihong stopped on the tree, maintaining a seal to raise her perception state to the highest level. After a few seconds, she opened her eyes. Still down there. Then fight them. They won't give up unless they fight one more time. Jingyan's expression was cold. It's not that he was afraid of Kasame and the others, he just didn't want to waste time on these 3 tough opponents. Since they are biting at it, then fight! Jingyan glanced at Yahiko and Might Guy, knowing that his 2 companions must have doubts in their hearts, but they just didn't ask. Just now I heard those 3 Kyusanin were chatting about a red-haired woman with special abilities. According to the book by the second day, I suspect she might be from the Uzumaki clan like Kushina-senpai. Senju Tabarama's notes are omnipotent. After all, neither Guy nor Kurenai Yuhai has read it, and they don't have enough understanding of Senju Tabarama. Moreover, there are so many books by Senju Tabarama that even Tsunade can't be completely sure whether there are similar records. The 2 believed it without a doubt. They understood what Jingyan meant. You want to capture them and torture them to get information about that woman. Yes, the Uzumaki clan was once our Konoha's ally, but was later targeted and exterminated by various villages. I think it is necessary to bring them back, Jingyan said firmly. Zai Hong nodded. Then let's repel the people behind us first. What should we do later? I just went through a test. Jingyan explained what had happened just now and shared the information he had obtained. Then he said, Kai, do you remember the person who called you a precious beast before? Okay. Kai pondered for a long time and finally said honestly, I can't remember his face. The corner of Yu Hong's mouth twitched slightly. In the past month or 2, she thought she had a deeper understanding of Kai, but at this moment, she found that she didn't know him enough. It turns out that in addition to sudden emotional excitement and tears, he also suffers from face blindness. Genders can always be distinguished, right? Jingyan said. Kai nodded, grinning and showing his teeth. No problem. I will let her realize the power of Konoha's blue beast. Okay, then the main target is that woman, and then try to hold back as many other people as possible. Jingyan said, pausing slightly. Hong, you have to be careful of the sudden attack of Mangetsu Kizuki. He is very powerful. None of us has mastered the lightning escape technique today, so it will be troublesome to face him. If he chases you, you can only rely on yourself. If he's alone, I can use illusion to hold him back. After a moment, Gui Deng Man Yu rushed in front at a very fast speed. He has the water transformation technique, so he is not afraid of Konoha's assassination, so he is the most suitable person to be the vanguard. After following for a while, Mei Terumi suddenly felt something was wrong. Wait, something seems wrong. The enemy's chakra fluctuations are completely hidden. 2 possibilities. One possibility is that the other party is planning an ambush, and the other possibility is that the other party has already gone far away. Either way, they are not suitable to be pursued anymore. However, as soon as the words fell, 6 figures jumped down from the tree and surrounded them, each looking different. Konoha has reunited. Hoshigaki Kasame was startled, and immediately formed seals with his hands and quickly completed the ninjutsu. The next moment, fog filled the air. Kirigakure no jutsu. But, before the fog completely dissipated, ouch. A strange cry sounded in my ear. That rare beast. Although not as fast as Ryamine Kyouhiko, this speed is still quite amazing. Kisame was horrified, as he had not expected that the rare beast in strange clothing could have such strength. He immediately formed seals with his hands, predicted the route of Kai's sprint, dodged sideways in an instant, and slapped the ground to release ninjutsu. A water shark leaped up and rushed back to its original location. But the next second, Might Guy flew past him and rushed towards Mei Terumi behind him, and the Mizusane bullet hit nothing. Hoshigaki Kasama was confused. This rare beast, isn't it directed at him? After all, they are from Kirigakure and are quite powerful. Someone rushed out, and the formation changed immediately. Kasama shrank back and Mangetsu retreated closer, no longer pursuing. Mei Terumi jumped back, quickly formed seals with her hands, and spit out thick mucus from her mouth. Kai dodged with a scream, and then shouted, "Why are you still spitting?" "Spit, spit." The veins on Mei Terumi's forehead were throbbing. "This is my bloodline limit!" exclamation. She was filled with anger. The mist dispersed, and two figures were sensed approaching rapidly. Kisama confirmed, as expected, many of those clones were fake. The other party did not actually have enough chakra to create so many shadow clones. The corners of his mouth raised slightly. Immediately water formation wall exclamation. A high water wall rose up, and Kasame used the water wall to isolate the inside and outside, while Kizuna Mangetsu quickly turned into water and merged into the water wall, spitting water bullets to attack Kai. Deal with the rare beast first exclamation. However, the next moment after the water wall rose, the terrifying chakra airflow bombarded and directly broke a section of the water wall. Immediately afterwards, two figures rushed in. Then wow. Kisame's water clone didn't last even a second and was instantly shattered by the blade. Kai was fighting with Mei Terumi, when suddenly, a knife came flying through the air. "Help me." Mei Terumi was so frightened that her soul was almost scared to death. The people of Konoha had no moral principles and directly besieged her. A newly graduated genin exclamation. The ghost lantern full moon emerged from the water wall. However, when exclamation, there was a loud noise, accompanied by a terrifying chakra flow. With the knife in one hand and strange strength in the other, Menzuki Hazuki was caught off guard. The blade flew out of his hand and swept towards Mei Terumi. Mei Terumi stood up and tried to jump away, but just as she jumped, strong force whirlwind, a strange cry. She was kicked in the shoulder and fell back to the ground. Bang exclamation. The handle of Man Yu's knife swept across her stomach and knocked her towards the water wall. It passed through with a swish and hit a tree. At this moment, Mei Terumi looked up and saw a kunai with an explosive tag coming towards her from above. What's even more terrifying is, the other party was forming seals with his hands and completing a ninjutsu. The next moment, the trees grew and bound her from behind. Magical tree binding killing. Do not exclamation. She had never felt so terrified in her heart because she was really going to die. Release it, release it. Mei Terumi roared in her heart and tried frantically to break the illusion. At last cracked successfully. She quickly dispelled the illusion and fled away instantly. Boom exclamation. There was an explosion. Available in the next second. Drink. The rare green beast attacks again. Facing Kai's kick, Mei Terumi rolled over in a panic, feeling extremely depressed. The one who scolded your companion was Kisame. What do you mean by chasing me and beating me? End of this chapter. Chapter 56, Konoha's Genius is Awe-Inspiring. Chapter 56, Konoha's Genius is Awe-Inspiring. Mei Terumi was surrounded and beaten. But on the other side, Hoshigaki Kisame and Hazuki Mangetsu were not having an easy time either. They have only one enemy, however. It is this one person who is enough to prevent Kisame and Mangetsu from letting their guard down. At this moment, the fog has spread to more places. This method consumes a lot of chakra, but Kisame has no choice but to do so. Without paying the chakra, Jingyan's terrifying clone would be impossible to resist. The mist-hidden technique plan at least worked. The two of them blocked their chakra and hid their aura and footsteps. Mangetsu Kizuki made a gun shape with her finger and pointed at the area where Jingyan was. Whoosh whoosh exclamation. A slight sound of breaking air sounded in the fog, and Jingyan instantly determined that Yue Kizuna was on his right. He quickly dodged. None of the water bombs hit the target. At the same time, on the left, there was a sound of jumping. Jingyan disappeared from the spot in an instant. Kisame jumped into the air, water gushing out of his mouth, and rolling waves surged downwards. Water release explosive water wave. However, before the ninjutsu could take shape, he sensed that Jingyan had already jumped up. The next moment, 3 figures emerged from the thick fog. Only one of the 3 is true. Kisame dived into the water, trying to use the current to escape quickly, but the next moment, a terrible impact suddenly came from below. How possible? His mind was blank. The raging water was terrifying. His throat suddenly felt fishy and sweet, and his face was pale. But Kisame's hands did not slow down at all. He immediately bit his finger and a shark emerged from the water. This is the spiritual contract of their tribe, which can summon sharks to help them. Under the residual force, the shark exploded and the blood dyed the sea red. Bang! Exclamation. Jingyan used the power of the water flow to step onto the upper side, and kicked Kisame diagonally below towards Kai's direction. There was a sweet and fishy taste in Kisame's throat and blood was oozing from the corners of his mouth. The other party was able to crack the secret of the mist-hidden technique and hide himself under the exploration of chakra in the mist. How could this be? Kisame regretted it. He originally thought that based on his performance last time, Jingyan was only strong in physical skills, and he could suppress him with ninjutsu. In fact, this guy has become much stronger! Additionally, Kyouhiko is very good at using ninjutsu and environmental conveniences to create a psychological advantage for himself. For example, this time, who would have thought that a Konoha ninja would know how to use the mist-hidden technique to hide himself? Isn't this the ability of the hidden mist village? But this guy from the very beginning, he concealed his ability and hid himself in the fog, becoming a real invisible man and giving him a fatal blow. Kisame looked at the flying kunai, shuriken, explosive tags, and the figure that jumped up again, and was extremely anxious. He formed seals with his hands, hoping to stop the enemy with ninjutsu, but then a stream of water spurted out of Jingyan's mouth. The water is turbulent! The force wasn't great, but it was enough to speed him out. Below, the strangely dressed rare beast and another female ninja immediately surrounded him. 3 kunai carrying explosive tags were shot from different angles. At the same time, he couldn't help but look towards where the hidden weapon came from, and saw Yahiko making seals. In an instant, the other person's figure disappeared, and a piece of cherry blossoms flew around. Illusion. Finished. Hoshigaki. Kisame felt the despair that Mei Terumi had felt before. Right now, all he could do was wait. Wait for the full moon, or Mei Terumi took a glance and lost all hope for Mei Ming in his heart. At this moment, Mei Terumi, who had finally taken a break from the endless siege, had no time to be happy, because Jingyan came towards her quickly with a knife. It was difficult to tell the real from the fake among the 4 figures, as they came from 4 directions in the blink of an eye. Mei Terumi quickly formed a seal, and mist spewed out of her mouth. The special fog burned and distorted the air. However, the 4 figures in front of me quickly disappeared in the mist. They are ordinary clone techniques. Mei Terumi became more and more alert in her heart. She did not dare to relax and immediately changed her seals. The water from her mouth turned into a water prison to protect herself inside. Just when Kisame and Mei Terumi were facing desperate situation, a huge water man stood up. Mangetsu absorbed the water flow of the exploding water wave, refined a large amount of chakra, and transformed into a giant water man. He grabbed a teammate with one hand, and then the huge water man collapsed quickly. Huge waves rolled in, sweeping the 3 people down the mountain. Guidang Man Yu took his men and ran away. Jingyan leaned against the tree, took a short breath, and quickly put a ration pill into his mouth. Kai landed beside him, sighed at the water, and then looked at Jingyan. Need a rest? No, the energy consumption is not that great. We can just rest while traveling. Red Jingyan looked at Yahiko and I. Soon. He ran to direction 3, chase. Run away. Whoosh, there was a mixture of cold sweat and water on Hoshigaki Kasama's forehead. He got up and looked to the side, only to see Guideng Manyu collapsed on the ground as if he had fainted. Mei Terumi was using chakra to dry her clothes. That's horrible! Kasama Kisaki was silent. Different from before. The last time he was defeated, Kasama was probably just too careless, and he might not be afraid of a real fight. But this time, he couldn't find an excuse and was completely frustrated. Let's go up, I'll lead the way. Behind what? Kasama was stunned for a moment, then came to his senses and put away his dazed expression. Then I'll carry him. This battle was really frustrating and shameful! If it weren't for Mangetsu Hazuki, he and Mei Terumi might not have been able to come back, but he was the one who forced them to do so. What should we do in the future when we encounter such an extremely fast enemy? Kasama fell into deep thought. After thinking for a while, he came up with an idea. Although Jingyan is strong, he still prefers physical skills. As long as he can practice the Great Explosion Water Wave, it will not be difficult to defeat the enemy with the advantage of the Kirigakure village in water battles. But at the moment he has not yet mastered this ninjutsu, and his chakra is not enough to support it. But this battle also woke him up. The restraint methods that had been thought of before were useless against Jingyan, and new ways of dealing with him needed to be thought of. Let's go. Kasama gritted his teeth, stood up, carried the unconscious Yue Kizuna on his back, and followed Mei Terumi. This time they were well behaved and headed straight for the top of the mountain, even avoiding other teams. In the dark, the two Jonin of Tangyan looked at each other. They heard the noise and rushed over. I thought a certain team was eliminated by the Kirigakure ninja, so I came to see if there was any hope. But unexpectedly, it was the most elite team from the Hidden Mist village that was defeated, and the member of the Kirigakure tribe even ran out of chakra and fell into a coma. What kind of enemy could be beaten like this? The one from Konoha? Apart from the ninjas of Konoha, they couldn't think of any other major enemies around entrance. No. 1. The enemy must be very powerful to be able to make the Hazuki clan escape like this. The next generation of Konoha is awe-inspiring. The Kirigakure village Jonin sighed. Konoha has terrible geniuses in every generation. Even if a few die accidentally, they can recover quickly and cultivate the next generation of talented ninjas. Small ninja villages like theirs would never dare to become enemies with Konoha. End of this chapter. Chapter 57. He is already like this. Won't Jingyan become even stronger? Chapter 57. He is already like this. Won't Jingyan become even stronger? 3 people from Kyouhiko village fled towards Route 3, not daring to stop for a moment. Gyukao, it looks like the battle over there is over. Ah, then let's come on. A slightly fatter ancient bridge road. Then he quickened his pace and climbed up the mountain. And the end is the real danger. That bunch of crazy people from the Hidden Mist village started fighting halfway up the mountain. It was obvious that they were not trying to pass the level, but were out to kill people. Run! But after a moment he heard a slight noise and his face suddenly changed. Run down the mountain. What? His companions didn't understand what was going on, but 2 or 3 figures suddenly jumped out from between the shadows of the trees. Before they could see clearly, the 3 men had already surrounded them in the shape of a Chinese character Chinese letter. The ninja named Gyukao was sweating profusely. He looked up. Forehead protection. Not a Kirigakure ninja, it turned out to be a ninja from Konoha! Gyukao was surprised, and then he felt happy and relieved. Hello, Konoha ninja exclamation. Although Konoha is powerful, except for the Anbu, their ninjas are generally not too cruel. They rarely kill ninjas from small ninja villages like them. At most, they just ask for some information even. If they are lucky, they might just ask for directions and the other party will let them go. The prerequisite is to have a good attitude. He was angry and annoyed at the injustice between big villages and small villages, but he forced a smile on his face. What do you three need? I am not interested in your lives. As long as you answer my questions, I will let you go, Jingyan said calmly. The three of them nodded in unison and stood straight unconsciously, with an extremely well-behaved attitude. As a small ninja village, they can only do this when facing a strong opponent. Is there a new red-haired woman in your village? Yes, it is. Kyouhiko finally understood that they were just talking nonsense. They were chatting before and mentioned the red-haired woman, and it was overheard by the ninjas of Konoha. This guy has such sharp ears! Exclamation. He sighed inwardly, smiled apologetically, and answered honestly, that's right. The woman's name is Yaxi. She just wandered into our village some time ago. You mentioned that she has special abilities? This Kyouhiko hesitated, but soon he noticed that Jingyan's eyes were becoming increasingly fierce, and he dared not hide it anymore. Yes, her physique is very special. As long as she lets others bite the corresponding part of the wound, she can heal others, so thank you. Jingyan confirmed the name and origin, and was completely sure of the other party's situation, so he didn't stay any longer. He left in an instant, sighing softly. What happened? Seeing him sigh, Sehong felt concerned and curious. Kai was equally curious. During the time they spent together, he rarely saw Jingyan express any negative emotions. Jingyan said, I'm almost certain that the woman is a member of the Uzumaki clan like Senior Kushina, and her name is Yuki, Health and Hope. Yahiko and I was stunned for a moment, then realized why Jingyan sighed. These two words no longer had anything to do with that girl since the destruction of Uzushio village and the extermination of the Uzumaki clan. She could imagine. Wandering all the way from the chaotic whirlpool country to the grass country, the girl went through so much suffering. Hung was silent for a moment. Then what are we going to do? Go out, tell the teacher, and wait for the result. Jingyan replied calmly. They are just genin. Even if they can be promoted to chunin in this exam, they will only be cannon fodder in the Ninja World War and are not worth mentioning at all. In this kind of game between villages, they can't intervene except for obtaining intelligence. Let's go and meet up with King Ai and the others. Let me sense it and see if there is any chakra fluctuation from them. It is good. Route 3, Yamashiro Aoba was panting, but there were still some scattered wounds on his body. The madman from the Hidden Cloud village. I'll hold them off, and you go meet up with Jingyan and the others. They held the knife side by side, their faces full of determination. Yamashiro Aoba shook his head. Their target is Jingyan-kun. I am even hesitating whether to go to no. 2. Run for the hills. It is good. The three of them discussed it and quickly changed their route, running up the mountain however. But a moment later, the shadows of the trees behind us moved, and a little girl ran between the trees, her face cold but not murderous. I'm not interested in you. Take us to find Langfeng Jingyan. We in Konoha don't betray our partners. Yamashiro Aoba refused sternly. He may be a guide today, but may betray you on the battlefield tomorrow. His principles would not allow that. I have an appointment with him. The two of them are told by wooden men. Yamashiro Aoba shook his head. I won't agree to it however. Their speed is no match for the two wooden men. As they talked, the distance between the two parties shortened. Yamashiro Aoba and Bingzu Leidong felt a strong sense of frustration in their hearts. They thought that for this test, each village might bring out its own elite team to show off the strength of the village, but they didn't expect the enemy to be so strong. This girl from the Hidden Cloud village, he looked to be 6 or 7 years old, maybe even younger. but he was able to overpower the three of them alone, and he still had chakra even after fighting for such a long time. Damn, this is outrageous. It seems that I can only capture you first, and then consider fight. They gritted their teeth and turned back to prepare for battle. The two wooden men's eyes lit up and were about to take action when a figure suddenly arrived quickly. A fight. She immediately crossed her hands and quickly blocked the opponent's kick, but soon the continuous attack came again. A series of kicks at extremely high speed. In the blink of an eye, the opponent had kicked out 7 or 8 times. Even the two wooden men could not resist and were finally kicked away. Fortunately, she quickly grabbed a branch nearby and finally managed to steady herself. At the same time, the partners behind also followed. Yukito, are you okay? Protecting her was a burly child who looked a few years older than the two Yukitos. The two wooden men shook their heads. She suffered no substantial injuries, but she raised her head and looked forward. Next to Yamashiro Aoba and the others stood a boy wearing green tights, looking at them warily. Konoha Ninjutsu, two of them thought about it and had some impression of it. This strangely dressed man seemed to be Ryamine Kyouhiko's companion. Unexpectedly, his companions are also very powerful. The two wooden figures' eyes sparkled. If even his companions are so powerful, then how powerful is Ryamine Kyouhiko, who is said to have defeated the Jonin of the Hidden Mist Village and killed the Jonin of the Hidden Iwagakure? She was looking forward to it more and more. Not long after, she saw the man. Ryamine Kyouhiko, you promised before that you would fight me. She was eager to fight. Jingyan said, that's true, but considering the rules of the second exam, I think we have a better choice. What? After we fight our way to the top of the mountain and get the scroll, we'll fight again. Jingyan said, no matter what, at least we can ensure that both of us can enter the next round, right? If I beat you, I can still advance to the next round. The two Yumu people are very confident. Jingyan smiled and then, bang exclamation, he threw out a bunch of smoke. Chase! The two wooden men shouted immediately, but when she quickly chased to the smoke, 6 figures suddenly emerged from the smoke. 2 teams towed her in an instant. The knife flashed. A scream was heard from behind. One of the Union people was hit in the shoulder by a knife, and blood splattered. At the same time, another kick was sent out by the wooden man, with the sole purpose of engaging the wooden man. The opponent was very fast, and the wooden man felt a lot of pressure. Yumujin, let's retreat. The other 2 Kyouhiko ninjas felt their legs go weak, and they all thought she was too crazy. One team plays against 2 teams. How dare she? And the ninjas of Konoha are too fast! No, something must be wrong. Yukito muttered to himself. She felt intuitively that there is something strange about these 6 people. End of this chapter. Chapter 58. The organization is called Dust. Chapter 58. Organization name Dust! It feels like a clone technique. The 2 wooden figures frowned. She couldn't see the difference with her naked eyes, but intuitively, she felt that the several clones in front of her were a little strange and not the real ones. Her 2 teammates hesitated to speak. They really want to say don't worry about whether it is the real body or not. If the fight continues, the 2 wooden men may be fine, but they will definitely suffer 2 or 3 more wounds. If any of the swords hits a vital point, he would be killed instantly in a place like this! Is it? As they spoke, 6 figures formed teams of 2. Throat, spine, heart. Where would you like your companion to have another wound? Jingyan's voice rang out. The 2 Yumu frowned, thinking that Jingyan was too arrogant, but she glanced at it out of the corner of her eye, but couldn't help but be stunned. A teammate had a long, narrow wound on his shoulder from which blood was oozing out. If there was another attack, with the opponent's speed and swordsmanship, he might really kill her teammates. At least kill one! The 2 wooden men remained silent and then said coldly, I don't care. If you kill my companions, I can also hunt down your companions, is it? Jingyan smiled. The next moment, 6 figures moved together. The 3 of them moved together instantly. 2 claws emerged from the hands of the 2 wooden figures, and one of her companions pressed his hands on the ground, and lightning immediately overflowed, turning into a large spider web-like shape, and the other's chakra overflowed and wrapped around his entire body, transforming into a special lightning chakra armor. Although it feels incomplete, at least it is not an ordinary ninjutsu. The 3 of them were on high alert, but the next second, a figure disappeared before their eyes, and the rest of the clones dispersed instantly. There is a word in the air. We'll see you at the top of the mountain. It turned out that the one fighting with them just now was just a shadow clone. A shadow clone entangled the 3 of them. The 2 people at the back looked at each other. Yulian, Matoi, you guys take care of your injuries, then we'll go up the mountain. The 2 of them turned around from the wooden figure. The 2 nodded repeatedly. Although on the surface, Lion is the captain of this team, there is nothing she can do about it because the other party is stronger and is also a Jinchuriki. Lion bandaged Matoi. The 2 wooden men were thinking about countermeasures. At such a fast speed, the only way to defeat the opponent is to be faster than the opponent, or to have strong insight and seize the opportunity to kill him with one blow. However, the other party did not want to get entangled any further, and it seemed that it was not just to ensure that they could advance. The 2 of them thought about it, but they didn't understand each other's purpose. Let's go to the top of the mountain. Let's grab 2 scrolls and advance to the 3rd round together. Jingyan said. Yamashiro Aoba was extremely grateful he knows. With the ability of their team, if they hadn't hitched a ride with Jingyan, they would have never been able to get promoted this time. At the same time, the shock in his heart was also beyond words. The 2 Yikitos seemed very powerful to the 3 of them, and they could overwhelm them all by themselves, but it seemed that Jingyan was able to delay the 3 of them with just one shadow clone. Is the difference in strength so big? And also Metkai. Aoba Yamashiro looked at Might Guy, who looked exhausted and had no strength to walk. His mind involuntarily recalled the scene where he rushed over and kicked 2 wooden men away with continuous physical techniques. He is very strong too. How amazing! Exclamation, they sighed inwardly. Kay, is everything okay? Well, after eating the Bingliang pills, we should be able to rest well when we reach the top of the mountain. Kai replied. Catch up a bit. Jingyan unconsciously quickened his pace. Kai's heart moved and he immediately followed. When he got to his side, Jingyan whispered, Kai, how many doors can you open at most now? My father said that I was struggling to open the 4th gate, and it would be best if I could only open the 3rd gate, or even just open and close the gates. Might Guy answered. So, it's equivalent to the skilled level. Jingyan had a general understanding. Have you ever considered that after opening the 8 gates of the human body, you can use the corresponding abilities reasonably? For example, when you open the gates, you can actually complete actions that you cannot normally complete. What do you mean? A flash of inspiration came to Kai's mind, but he couldn't catch it for a moment. A matching special physical technique. Yes. Jingyan nodded. You should know Yingwei, right? Ah. Shadow Dance Leaf is a relatively practical move in physical techniques, but it places extremely high demands on the ninja. Kai's eyes lit up immediately after he answered, using Shadow Dance Leaf as the starting move. Yes. Shadow Dance Leaf is difficult to perform perfectly under normal circumstances, but the open state allows you to perfectly control your body. You can perform Shadow Dance Leaf and then perfectly follow up with physical attacks such as punches and kicks, and finally hit the head, throat, heart, and other vital parts with a heavy blow. Jingyan said. Generally speaking, the neck is the most suitable. An attack falling from the air and hitting the neck is difficult for ordinary ninjas to block, and they are basically dead. Kai thought about it for a moment and couldn't help getting excited. Yes. Before the 8 gates ninjutsu, he used ordinary taijutsu. If I unlock the 8 gates, but but still use the physical techniques I normally use. Wouldn't it be a waste of time? Kai hugged Jingyan excitedly. You are so nice. Hey, we're on our way, it. Yes. Kai let go immediately and just managed to stand on the next tree. He already had a plan in mind, but, just as Jingyan said, the best strategy at the moment is to use Shadow Dance Leaf in combination with continuous attacks with fists and feet. Kai understood immediately. Jingyan didn't just think of it suddenly, but this is the taijutsu you designed for yourself, right? Why are you teaching it to me? After all, Jingyan also mastered the ability to liberate opening the door. Jingyan said, I have thought about it, but for me, its effect and blessing are more important. If I want to kill the enemy, I will use super strength or swordsmanship, which is better than ordinary physical skills. As for why I can't use it, but you can. I understand. Kai was deeply touched. He was unusually serious. I will pass on your will. Then, Jingyan, you can name it. Jingyan thought about it and said, if it is a series of kicks, let's name it so-and-so continuous bomb. Basic copyright must still be respected. Although the creator, now even his brother, is nowhere to be found, it is good. Kai grinned. He was about to speak when he heard whispers from behind. Kyouhiko, is it always like this? Well, within our team we will exchange some ninjutsu techniques that we think of or have the right to exchange, and we will all improve together. Yu Haihong nodded. Yamashiro Aoba, Bingzu Leibang, and Campo were all deeply moved. Exchanging ninjutsu techniques, although it is just a skill, many times, if one cannot make a breakthrough in one's own ninjutsu, the lack may be in one of the skills or knowledge. Jingyan's approach was very bold. Kai too? Oh, no, at the moment it's just me, Kakashi, and Kyouhiko. We do have the idea of expanding, but it's limited to voluntary participation. After all, knowledge and skills are very important to everyone and we can't just give them out for exchange. Zahikure and I hurriedly explained. She said this, of course. We also hope to attract more people to join us so that we can make progress together. Yamashiro Aoba's heart was so excited that he no longer hesitated. Can I join in? Yes, but if you want to participate in the exchange, you must bring out skills that can also be exchanged or discovered by yourself, and we cannot teach them to the outside world at will. Jingyan turned around and after a pause he explained, knowledge has a price. I hope everyone can exchange it equally, so that this form of mutual benefit can be passed on. Let's join, the four of them said in unison. Jingyan nodded. Jingyan, our organization is growing in number. Should we come up with a name? Yu Haihong laughed playfully. Jingyan smiled and said, if you want to name it, then let's call it Dust. Each of us is as small as dust. Our common embrace and unity are the soil. We will become the nutrients for Konoha's growth. Dust. Zai Raihong was just joking, however. After Jingyan finished speaking, she was deeply touched and shocked in her heart. She felt that just this name and these words seemed to have suddenly placed a heavy burden on her shoulders. Just as I was about to say some polite words, the prompt sounded. As Hokage, you created your own theory of thought. The concept of dust was deeply recognized, and 4 new members were gained. Reward. White Fang Sword Skill Improvement. End of this chapter. Chapter 59. Kirigakure. Kill Kirigakure. Chapter 59. Kirigakure. Kill Kirigakure! Exclamation Dust. To be honest, Jingyan just casually said the character creation to lay a few more cornerstones for his own Hokage path, and to see if he could get some benefits at the same time, but unexpectedly, the expected thing did not appear, but I got a reward from an unexpected place. Jingyan was in a delicate mood. Does this mean that I have come up with the theory of the extension of the Wall of Fire before taking office? Like, not bad either. With ideas, there is cohesion. White Fang Sword Technique. Jingyan looked towards the panel. White Teeth Knife Technique Proficient. This thing is too difficult to upgrade! Exclamation. It is not just a simple sword technique, but a killing technique that combines killing skills, surprise assassination, and timing. Simply practicing sword technique will lead to little progress, and so, over the past period of time, even though Jingyan had practiced his swordsmanship, he did not have a deep understanding of killing people. He always felt that the White Fang's swordsmanship could not be improved, so he simply put it aside for the time being. The rewards he received further confirmed Jingyan's point of view. A lot of killing-related skills and memories appeared in his mind, all of which were excellent techniques on how to save energy and chakra and kill people more efficiently. The difference is that there is one more trick in the proficiency stage, sword drawing technique. This was a sword technique that was often used in duels during the samurai era. Mifune was very good at it, and it was also used in the White Fang sword technique. However, unlike Mifune, Hadake Sekumo did not deliberately practice this move to make it very strong. Instead, he integrated it into his tactical system to make sneak attacks and assassinations more unexpected. For example, prepare a short knife specifically for stabbing. This requires considerable ability in both hands. Jingyan moved his left and right hands a few times while running, but he did not feel any significant improvement in the flexibility of his hands. Maybe weapons are needed. Take a break. The exam won't be over immediately. Let's recover our spirits first. They are fine. With Jingyan around, the consumption of Kai and Yuhai is basically not very great, but Yamashiro Aoba and the others are different. During this period of rest, he could also try using two kunai and draw a conclusion really. As soon as I picked up the two kunai, I felt the difference instantly. Previously, although Jingyan had trained the flexibility of his left hand, there was still a big gap compared to his dominant right hand. Although it cannot be said that it is almost the same now, it is at least much more flexible than before. The physical strength of his left hand did not improve, but his flexibility and muscle control became stronger, and the power he exerted with his left hand was also stronger. Rough estimate. The ability of the left hand is about 90% of that of the right hand. After resting for a while, everyone set off again and headed towards the top of the mountain. The sounds of battle continued. With 6 people together, the noise was difficult to conceal, but when they climbed to the top of the mountain, they heard a loud commotion and countless sounds of fighting coming from inside. After receiving the intelligence scroll, he was about to enter. Suddenly dozens of kunai and shurikens attacked them. In an instant, Jingyan quickly formed seals and sprayed water, raising a water array wall. Here it was a mess. 2 or 3 groups of people joined together, each with their own tacit understanding, and surrounded the 2 entrances of the volcano, robbing the teams that had just entered. It was one of these groups that attacked them. Be careful. There's a trap down there. A lot of detonating talismans. Yamashiro Aoba yelled. Disperse. Kill them all. Jingyan shouted. Immediately. Whoosh! Exclamation! With a sound, he and Might Guide disappeared at the same time. The next moment, countless ninjutsu came towards them in the forest, but Jingyan turned 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and in the blink of an eye, 8 figures rushed forward. Under his protection, Might Guy seemed less noticeable. There must be a clone technique. Everyone please be careful to identify it. Attack together. Someone shouted in the forest. Then the rest of the people took quick action. There is a commander. Jingyan followed the sound and searched for 30 steps to the left. Kill. Instantly move and draw the sword. In the blink of an eye, the knife flashed past the man's neck. Forehead protector, mist hidden. Jingyan did not stop. His figure was as fast as lightning, moving between several clones and killing several people in the blink of an eye. Alliance meaningless alliance will only make them weaker! Exclamation under the attack. The scene instantly became chaotic, but this time it's his and Might Guy's turn not to let those people go. After a fierce fight, only a few people were left at the entrance, and they fled in panic. Jingyan's body was covered in blood and his expression was cold. Kai gasped. Jingyan, will you go with the others? I will act alone to hunt down these Kirigakure ninjas. Jingyan's eyes were cold. The leaders were the people from the Hidden Mist village. It would not be a pity to kill all these hanged men. When the two of them entered the platform on the volcano from the wooden men, excitement immediately appeared on her face. Inside the field, a group of people were being chased and hunted by one person, but looking closely, it is not that the other party is killing without purpose, but is chasing with a purpose. His goal, Kirigakure ninja. Run, run away. A man is running towards this side. Judging from the forehead protector, he seems to be a ninja from Kirigakure. The two wooden men sneered and immediately moved forward, leaving a claw mark on the opponent's neck in an instant. Yukido? I don't like the people from the Hidden Mist village either. Let's join forces and kill them all. The two wooden men chuckled. Over the past few years, there have been many frictions between the Hidden Cloud village and the Hidden Mist village at sea. But since a war had just happened, everyone maintained a tacit understanding and suppressed their desire to fight. However, in the exam room, you don't have to think about these things. The rules are to escort intelligence and fight. It makes sense. She killed one person and quickly moved on to the next one. Matoi and Yulian had no choice but to keep up. Do you need help? Guidang Man Yu hid in the dark, looking around. Kisama was silent. This guy is so strong! Did not expect. In addition to speed, the opponent's swordsmanship is also extremely terrifying, and he has some of the style of White Fang back then. Although they fought a fierce battle with Jingyan and others and both sides were exhausted, on their side, Mangetsu Kazuki's chakra was directly exhausted, and although it has recovered now, it is not considered to be a fighting force. What about the other party? On one side, there are a group of Konoha's ninjas, and there is also an extremely fast Ryamine Kyouhiko who is ready to assassinate them. On the other hand, the Cloud Hidden ninjas were also very fierce, especially targeting them. Find another scroll and let's go down the mountain to hand in the quest. Terumi Mei whispered. She wasn't backing off, but she really felt that if she went out at this moment, she might become the target of public criticism. Judging from the scene, it was not the Konoha ninjas who initiated the massacre, but their own Kirigakure. Many ninjas from small ninja villages died at the hands of Kirigakure's swordsmanship. In addition, there was still the chakra aura of the mist hidden technique on the volcano, which meant that the ambush failed and the opponent chased and beat them. Then wait a moment, but after a period of chaos, the people on the volcano had almost cleaned up the area. Remaining 3 teams. There were 2 Konoha teams and 1 Kirigakure team. The rest were either killed or secretly took the scrolls and ran away. They didn't dare to stay there any longer, of course. The latter are the majority. The 3 of them huddled in a corner, their eyes gradually brightened, and they felt that they were able to do it. It seems like Konoha and Kirigakure are about to start fighting! Looks like there's a chance to get a bargain. At the foot of the mountain at this moment. Not good. Not good. What happened? The Hidden Mist village is hunting down the examinees from other ninja villages. Many ninjas from small ninja villages have been killed. What? After a while. Oh no. What's the situation? The ninjas of the Hidden Mist village are almost killed. End of this chapter. Chapter 60. You saved your life, but you still want to keep the scroll. Chapter 60. You saved your life, but you still want to keep the scroll. What? Everyone looked at each other. Such a big change happened in just a few minutes. Previously, it was the Kirigakure ninjas who were slaughtering, but in the blink of an eye, it was the Kirigakure ninjas who were being wiped out. The situation changed too quickly, didn't it? Master Yuen immediately stood up anxiously. What's going on? The ninjas from Yukakure village looked at Jiraiya and Dodai. The words were not said, but the meaning was conveyed. The master's face looked grim, but he couldn't get angry at this moment because according to the chronological order, it was the ninjas from their Hidden Mist village who caused trouble first and killed the genin from other ninja villages. This kind of thing is not uncommon in the Hidden Mist village. Because the current Mist Village itself has a bloody and warlike educational style, the graduation exam of the ninja school even requires students to kill each other, otherwise they cannot graduate, and so. Deep down, he was not surprised by the behavior of these bastards. Only what Yuanchi didn't expect was that the Kirigakure ninjas were killed so tragically. Kyouhiko. The guy from Konoha should be the one named Ryamine Kyouhiko. That kid is really strong, and his speed is one of the fastest among his peers. If he continues to grow, he may become the next White Fang. But the Hidden Cloud Village Master Yuan frowned. Who can that be? Also, what about Mangetsu Kizuki and the others? Could it be that the three of them were no match for the ninjas from the two villages and were cleared out? Or even Master Yuan was extremely worried. Well, the second exam turned out like this, which was unexpected. Jiraiya coughed dryly, interrupting the silent atmosphere. He glanced over. Only Tudai had a calm expression like him. It was obvious that the other party also had a trump card and was not worried about anything happening to the members of his team, but the key right now is still those small ninja villages. These small ninja villages suffered a great loss. But it was all Kirigakure's fault. It has nothing to do with them. Even so, he still sighed in his heart, and then expressed his thoughts. Village Chief Kaise, this time you are hosting the Chunin exam, so I have a suggestion. Jiraiya looked around. We hold exams mainly to understand each other's situation, promote peace and common progress, but the current situation is obviously contrary to the original intention. It is better not to hold the third exam. Those who pass the exam will be qualified to become Chunin. What do you think? The situation of Yugakure village is different from many ninja villages. The leader of their ninja village is not a ninja, but an ordinary person. During wartime, Yuyan village will seek to increase its combat power, but after the war is over, they will cut spending on improving combat power, and so. The purpose of Yuyan village is opposite to that of Kirigakure village. Try not to fight if you can. We can discuss it if there is any problem. Therefore, the leader of Yugakure village was quick to agree to Jiraiya's proposal. So how could he possibly refuse? A smile appeared on his face. I personally agree with this very much, but I don't know what you think. Agree. Tudai nodded happily. Anyway, the Hidden Cloud Village only sent out 2 elite teams this time, and one of them was just there to make up the numbers. He was eliminated before he even got through the first level. He was so unskilled that he felt ashamed of himself, but there are benefits to being embarrassed. So, they didn't even participate in the second level, and each of them saved their lives. The other small ninja villages all agreed, leaving only the master silent. However, with the 2 big villages of Konoha and Kyouhiko taking the lead and the other ninja villages all agreeing, what could the Kirigakure village? Master Yuan sighed and had to express his opinion. Agree. On the mountain, the battle is raging. The 2 sides dispersed, leaving only Jingyan and the 2 Yumujin. It's not that Jingyan is full of martial virtue and really wants to fight the 2 Yubokuto in a duel, but he is very clear that the 2 Yubokuto are the 2-tailed Jinchuriki, and when they burst out with all their strength, they cannot be defeated by numbers, and so. 1 person or 6 people, it doesn't matter much at the moment. A one-on-one fight is actually the best way to reduce losses. What's more, Hoshigaki Kasama and the others have not appeared yet, so leaving 3 teams behind can prevent the other side from taking advantage. At this moment, Kasama was really numb. As a Kirigakure ninja, he had enough patience, but he still couldn't understand the scene that looked like a samurai duel. What era are we in? Are you still childish at this moment? Jingyan created several clones. The 2 wooden figures held their hands up flat, with blue mouse-shaped fireballs appearing on their fingers. Exclamation! Rat-shaped fireballs flew everywhere. However, Jingyan dodged and moved, and one figure after another, as real as it was an illusion, passed through the fireball, and none of them was hit. The 2 of them were slightly surprised by the wooden man. Previously, Jingyan used his real body in conjunction with the shadow clone, making it difficult to distinguish between himself and the clone. Now that the other party has no shadow, he seems even harder to identify than before. This she took a deep breath, releasing chakra from her body, always on guard against possible attacks while also focusing her attention and perception left. The second Yukido sensed the source of the attack with the special power of Jinchuriki. Cat claws instantly popped out from her fingers, and special chakra emerged from her palms. She blocked with her left claw and shrank her body with her right claw to prevent Jingyan from changing his tactics temporarily when the collision of knife and claw. The two wooden figures raised a smile, but the next second, she saw Jingyan's weapon clearly and immediately felt something was wrong. This is a kunai! She immediately stretched out her right hand to block, but in the blink of an eye, Jingyan had already pulled out the blade from his waist with his left hand and slashed at her left hand that was blocking the kunai in a strange and weird direction. The two wooden men tried to retract their arms, but they felt a sharp pain in their arms. Blood surges like a fountain! She knew that she must not hold back. Once you retract your force, the opponent's knife will be an inch closer, becoming even more terrifying. Chakra surged out of the wooden man's body, and he looked like he was about to enter the tailed beast state. Jingyan's face was calm. He threw the kunai with his right hand at the attacking right claw, and then threw a knife with his left hand. Boom! The wooden man crossed his claws and blocked the knife into the sky. The next moment her pupils shrank, and she had no time to dodge as a huge impact hit her chin. Even though she had the tailed beast coat, it blocked some of the damage for her, but his body was out of control. The moment she flew into the air, she used the tailed beast's chakra to surround herself layer by layer, but the next second, a huge impact came from behind. Boom! A big hole was smashed into the ground. The two wooden figures felt a sharp pain in their abdomens, and she couldn't believe it. As the genius of Kirigakure and the two tails Jinchuriki, she was beaten like this even after using the tailed beast's chakra. How could it be so strong? Her mind went blank. Landing. The knife flashed past her neck, just a hair's breadth away. Do you want to fight again? Kyouhiko stood up and stood next to Yukido, looking down at her. I lost. The two wooden men lay on the ground and the chakra of the tailed beasts was contracted. The other party is fully capable of killing her. The reason why I don't kill, maybe he was also concerned about his status as a Jinchuriki, but losing is losing. She can afford to lose and won't act unreasonably. But I am younger than you. I will work harder and sooner or later I will surpass you. The two wooden figures struggled to sit up, coughing up blood. If it weren't for the tailed beast coat, that final kick alone would have been enough to take her life. What a terrifying power. How did this guy train? Yumirin was in mixed emotions. At the same time, some people have more complicated feelings than them. Man Yu and the others had hoped to benefit from the situation, but in the end, they failed to do so and instead witnessed a horrific duel, defeating the Jinchuriki in just a few moves. What a ridiculous thing! Even though this Jinchuriki was very young and had not yet mastered real power, he was able to chase after the other Kirigakure ninjas, which showed that he was very powerful. In other words, before, when Ryamine Kyouhiko fought with them, he didn't even use his full strength. Hoshigaki Kasama didn't dare to breathe. At this moment, they had no intention of taking action at all, and only had one thought: admit defeat. They didn't even dare to move. They just hoped that Jingyan and the others would leave as soon as possible so that they could get down the mountain safely. It's true that I can't win. It's not shameful! Jingyan glanced around and finally fixed his eyes on Yumirin. I'll wait for you to challenge me. Then he reached out. Yumirin wondered, what? Scroll. I've left my life for you, but you still want to keep the scroll. For you. Yumirin gritted his teeth, looked through his arms, and then remembered that it was not on her. Senior Lion, please give it to him. I will talk to Master Tsunade. It is good. Yulian threw out several scrolls. Jingyan took him into his arms and then said with a smile, "Let's go down the mountain together?" The two of you were speechless. He was so hostile the last second, and now he is so friendly and happy. How can he switch so easily? There may be an elite team of Kirigakure in the dark. Zehong reminded. Let's go together then. Hong, give her some simple treatment. It's not a big deal to have blood on your hands all the time. It is good. End of this chapter. Alright legends, that's it for today. Like, subscribe, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.